Hump Day here on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. We are coming off a great round of golf with our listener, CJ, who won our contest, free round of golf with Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. We're doing this one more time. Long ball, hard iced tea is going to put the promotion back up on the website, sportssd.com. So in a month, if you want to play a free round of golf with Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, go ahead and go to sportssd.com, prizes and promotions. Go to a free round of golf with Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, and you can sign up there. There have been multiple submissions from certain listeners. I ran into our listener, Jeremy, who said, I think I'm up to 80 submissions so far. Please, for the love of God, pick me. There have been over 400 people who've tried to get into this event. So please be patient, and many of which have submitted many times. So your name and all of your submission attempts goes into a hopper, and we select somebody. And this time it was CJ. We went out to Steel Canyon. Boys, that place is purty.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And CJ is a good golfer.
He's a good golfer.
He's a good golfer. And he's got some serious calves.
Yeah.
And he's tan.
He is tan.
There are so many good things about CJ.
And I think CJ is what we're looking forward to, you know, because he had just recently lost a bunch of weight, like 50-something pounds. And I think we're all on that track right now. There's a lot less of man in this room right now.
Yeah, we're down a significant amount. We're on this new diet. We've been on the group text sharing our weight loss with each other. And it's been a real thing. I mean, it's happening fast. It's the case of the vanishing man or men over here. And so officially since this weekend, how many LBs have you lost?
Since this weekend, 6. Since that day that we weighed in here in studio, 21.
Different scales though?
Wow.
Yeah, different scales.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah. Well, either way, that's impressive because you've lost some part of 20 pounds.
20 pounds.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
What about you, buddy?
Since this weekend, 8. 8 pounds. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm embarrassed to admit how much weight I lost because it means that I'm tumbling a lot farther down the mountain and I was at a much higher apex.
It's 8 pounds since Friday, which probably someone's going to say that's not healthy. I'm kind of okay with it. Yeah, I'm fine. So so Friday of last week, that's when we weighed in, and you have lost how much?
12
pounds.
Yeah. And it's Wednesday.
Pounds.
So
that is
should I be worried?
No, it's like an average bowling ball.
Yeah. Think about how heavy a bowling ball is. Like when you're not ready for it, like someone says, hey, catch. You're like, whoa, like that. 12 pounds. Oh my God. The fact that there was 12 pounds in me that's no longer in me as of 5 days is a little alarming.
Have you seen those videos where they show like what 5 pounds of fat looks like in the body?
Oh, it's gross.
And it's disgusting.
Yeah.
And we've lost all of that.
You've
lost double that.
12, 8, that's 20, 26 since Friday.
I first weighed in on Monday.
Oh, you first weighed in on Monday. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. So you might have lost even more. I mean, potentially. Wow. Anyways, look, we can talk to you about the weight loss. We're going to start talking about the way we're doing it here pretty soon on the show. There's a good reason for it. So we'll reveal that in just a few days here, really. But in the meantime, we got to update everybody on a couple of things. You heard the breaking news yesterday. Aaron Rodgers' season's over. Ben just mentioned in his update, Zach Wilson's going to take over for the rest of the way. We're going to spend a lot of time this hour talking about quarterbacks in the NFL because that is a topic of conversation after week 1 that we need to get into. But before we do any of that, how about the news of Yu Darvish's elbow yesterday?
I mean, it's kind of expected, right? I mean, we knew it was hurt or he was hurting. He needed to rest. And they finally just pulled the plug.
So what initially it was bone spurs, right?
That's right.
And then yesterday we got something called a stress reaction. Now I'm not super up on the medical lingo. Rich, what does that mean?
Basically what it means is it's like what the signs you see that a bone can break.
Oh.
So like a lot of times, you know where you hear that a lot of times is in somebody's vertebrae. Like you'll hear like they're having a stress reaction in one of the vertebrae because it's in such a tightly compacted space, your spine. And you have so much muscle that protects your spine, your core muscles, and then obviously your adductor, lower back muscles and glutes and stuff. Like you don't it's like kind of tucked in there. So it's hard to break a spine. But what you'll see is like almost like think about like little cracks in the foundation of a house. You can't call it a fracture, but
they're under stress.
But they're under stress. And so it's a stress reaction to whatever the outside forces are. In this case, a tremendous amount of torque that Yu Darvish has been putting on his elbow for years and years and years and years. This is not a young man we're talking about. Yu Darvish is coming off of inarguably one of his worst seasons because of the pain and the difficulties he's been dealing with. And so, again, another player where the Padres have to put a question mark on him going into this offseason. What do you do about Darvish?
Right. I mean, I don't know. How do you even fix it?
Well, rest.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's it. You can go in and do surgery on the bone spurs. I'm fairly certain.
Yes, I know you can do surgery on that, but I also know that there's a chance they come back because there's an underlying reason why you are getting bone spurs.
Yep.
So even if you go in, you cut them off, why do they grow back? And that's the problem you have to fix. So if there are some bones under stress, I'm assuming there's a cartilage issue.
Mm-hmm.
So where do you go?
So at the moment, the question on Darvish is, and by the way, who signed a 6-year extension with the Padres last offseason. He's dealt with elbow troubles in the past, including Tommy John surgery that cost him all of the 2015 season, and a stress reaction that cost him most of the 2018 campaign. So it's not like he hasn't dealt with this before and this specific injury before in the recent past, but 2018, that's 5 years ago.
Right.
I mean, that elbow is 5 years older. We know how difficult it is to heal as you get beyond 30, as you get beyond 35, Darvish nearing 40. I mean, I don't know, guys. Like, there's a lot of indications to me that tell me the Padres could be a very good baseball team for a good stretch. There's also a lot of indications to me that tell me the Padres, they are on the precipice of that decision where do we hit the button and restart this whole thing? Like, are we there yet? Because there are indications that I'm not saying they should. I'm not saying I'm even in favor of that. And actually, that's a great question for our listeners. 70470, start your message with team. Is anybody in favor of the Padres just hitting the restart button? I'm not there yet. Are you, Travis?
Well, they can't reset.
Yeah. I mean, that's the problem is in the past year, they locked in so much money, they locked in so many pieces that the reset button kind of got pushed away.
You can reset, though.
You can't reset with the big four. Those guys are here.
You can reset.
I mean, Manny Machado, Joe Musgrove, Xander Bogaerts, and Fernando Tatis Jr. are here. You can reset around them, and I think that that's probably what the Padres are going to do, if not what they have to do. But all those guys have no trade clause. I know that that's only a thing until it isn't.
That's my point. I don't
think those four are going anywhere.
I get what you're saying. Right now, it looks that way. But I'm saying if you start trading guys, like say Soto's the first guy to go, and then all of a sudden a stunner, like one of the core four that we're talking about, like Fernando Tatis Jr. I mean, I'm not, again, this is coming from a place of pure hypothetical. Mm-hmm. And it's not even my opinion that it would be a good idea. My opinion is stay the course. You're going to subtract some, you're going to add some this offseason, but I'm not ready to see this front office destroy what they've built here. Not yet. But my question to anybody out here listening to this show this morning, who's having some of the knee-jerk reactions I'm having, like, this is awful. This does not feel good. This doesn't even look like it's potentially going to get better, potentially, in the next season. Are you there yet? It sounds like you, Ben, you're not there yet. Travis, I just asked him. He's not.
I just really don't see a way that it would happen. Now, I do think that there's going to be a lot of moving around and shuffling. I think Blake Snell is probably not coming back to the Padres. I don't think they'll be able to re-sign him. Josh Hader probably not coming back to the Padres. I don't think they want to re-sign him because A.J. Preller has a history of being pretty good at finding closers on the cheap. Those four, though, they're here. Now, what you could do is if you are to move Juan Soto this offseason, hypothetically, you could potentially attach a Jake Cronenworth to that. Now, that would lessen the amount you get back in return, but it frees up cap space in the long run where you can sign a Ha-Seong Kim or where you can go out and get some pieces to add to this team. Next year, much like this year, you're going to need to add starting pitching to this roster. especially with the question marks around you, Darvish. Like, what are you really going into next year with? Joe Musgrove and question marks?
Mm-hmm.
That's not a good spot to be in. So they have work to do this offseason. And I think the only way you can get to that work is if you free up some money. One easy way to free it up would be Jake Cronenworth's contract, which right now looks like the worst contract on this team.
Fletch, you're making a ton of sense. It all is laid out, and I understand it all. But to Rich's point, where there's a will, there's a way. If they want to blow it up, they could find a way to blow it up.
Well, Manny Machado, Xander Bogaerts, Fernando Tatis Jr., Joe Musgrove would also have to say yes.
Right. But the big part of this is if one of them do, then the other dominoes can easily fall, because then all of a sudden, organizationally, as a player, you know what's going on. And by the way, these players, they have relationships with these people. What they'll do is they'll go to the front office, they'll talk to AJ Preller, they'll talk to Peter Seidler, they'll say, "What's up? What are we doing here?" And they'll be more honest in those conversations with their agents, and they'll be more honest with the players themselves than they will be with the general public. They'll say things like, "Look, we're looking to reboot here. Like, this, for whatever reason, did not work. And but it was nothing you did specifically wrong. It's just not going in the right direction. You're a hell of a player. We want you to find a good landing spot, and we want to get a lot back for you."
Mm-hmm.
And so when ownership or a front office starts talking that way, what can a player do to reverse its course? Nothing. The decision's already been made. So then you have to start opening your mind up, if you're Fernando Tatis Jr. or if you're Manny Machado or Xander Bogaerts, to think, well, where do I want to go? You know, and you start thinking, like, do I want to go back to Boston if I'm Bogaerts? You know, Fernando, like, well, you know, when I was down there in the Dominican, I always wanted to be a Yankee. You know, I'm just saying, like, there's certain things that happen where all of a sudden these conversations become real, and they're shocking, but they become real. Just like what happened back when AJ Preller first got here. He signed all these free agents. They have longer contracts. Everybody said, "Here we go. We're off to the races." And then boom, it fell. I mean, just like a bluey. He blew the thing up. Rebuilt the farm.
There's no chance that this front office blows this up this early after 1 year of having everybody there.
Yeah.
Like, I do think that there's going to be, this Padres lineup is going to look so different next year than it looks right now, because they can't go back in with this same thing. It didn't work, obviously. I just think that those four aren't going anywhere.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I think you're looking to argue the wrong point here. I'm not disagreeing with you that it won't happen. I'm disagreeing with you that it can't. It always can happen. And it can happen in a moment. It just takes one person's decision. And frankly, it's Peter Seidler's. If he decides he wants to blow this up, he could do it anytime he wants. So that's the reality of the situation. Again, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't want it to happen, but I'm curious what our listeners and what people who listen to this show think about this. Do you want it to happen? Do you want to see a restart? I'm not there yet, but you're starting to see people, like, you know, sell it off, do it over again.
I think the offseason is the most interesting thing with this Padres team now. Like, the rest of the season doesn't matter. I think the only thing that matters right now is what happens in the winter months here. And that's what we'll be talking to Kevin Acee about.
Yeah, I mean, what we want to see as fans is the team win.
Yes.
You want to see a World Series. So if what you have right now didn't bring a World Series, why is it going to bring a World Series next season? That's where the hang-up lies. So, you know, you don't want your favorites to go away. You don't want to see the changes. I think we all start to pucker up a little bit when there's big changes coming. However, what you want to see is a winning baseball team.
That's exactly right. Travis, you hit the nail on the head. You do start feeling like you're sucking a lemon. You know what I mean? Like you're just kind of like, you know, you get that weird feeling in the corner of your jaw, and you're just like, yeah, no.
Don't want it.
But then it passes, you know, it's kind of like painful, or it stings for a second, but then you're like, it wasn't so bad. And then what's left on the other side is hopefully a winning formula. Right. That's all you want as fans. Yeah. I'll endure whatever you want to put me through from the standpoint of players I like leaving town, if on the other side is winning. That's the only thing that people care about, because guess what? Even if it's an unknown player, like a Gary Sanchez, if the Padres were on a World Series chase right now, where they were the top of their division and he was hammering home runs and he's having this career revival, you would see Gary Sanchez jerseys everywhere in the stands, because it doesn't matter who. It's just if you win.
Yeah.
Speaking of changes,
So our
There's
Zach Wilson jersey is going to be all over the place now in New York,
gonna
or Philip
well,
Rivers,
if they're
Big-
winning,
or Tom Brady.
be again. It comes down to winning.
Good luck with that Dallas defense, Zach.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where you were going here, Rich, with the changes. However, the 913 did ask about a change in Fletch's life. What's the story on Brock?
We're getting Brock.
You're getting
The
Brock.
puppy. The
Damn.
puppy's happening. Okay.
Originally it was supposed to be Sunday, but I think the people who are fostering him want it to be earlier than that. So we're gonna have to figure something out. But yeah, Amazon cart's full. We're getting Brock.
Well, it was yesterday afternoon. I thought you said you were going yesterday.
There was a chance we were. We did not.
Thought there was
We're
gonna be a
very
puppy here
excited
today.
No, me
to
too.
bring him home, but I think Sunday is the way to go.
Wait, you said Saturday yesterday.
It's Saturday night probably.
Okay.
But Sunday was the original date that was on like all the applications and stuff.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Well, so we're gonna have a puppy in studio on Monday. Looking
Yeah,
forward to
I'll
that.
bring him in.
Speaking of peeing all over the place, Zach Wilson looked like a scared dog when Aaron Rodgers went down, going back out there. I don't think he figured he'd play a single significant snap this season with Aaron Rodgers starting at quarterback. But Aaron Rodgers, as of yesterday, and this news broke during our show, the Achilles in his left leg is ruptured. His season is over. Zach Wilson's the named starter. And so now all of a sudden you have this big change in the locker room. A lot of these players grew close bonds with Aaron Rodgers immediately, especially some of his young skill position players. Garrett Wilson specifically post-game over the past couple of days, he caught up with the media. Here's what he had to say about Rodgers talking to him after the injury on Monday night.
Just made sure I gave him a hug, told him I love him, and it really hurt my heart. He told me, just sorry, kid. Just like that. He said, sorry, kid. And say he loved me back, and that was it. But just truly heartbroken, for real.
Brutal.
That was one thing in Hard Knocks I didn't think was faked. I thought a lot of the Aaron Rodgers stuff was hooey and like trying to make him look different than he is. What wasn't faked at all was the relationships that were built, and especially Garrett Wilson, Sauce Gardner, some of the younger players on this team, they loved Aaron Rodgers.
Well, and I mean that phrase, sorry, kid, he came in there as a legend. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. And look, man, we're going to have a fantastic season. In fact, we're going to win this whole damn thing. And they all believed it. They all bought into that. And I mean, that's what you need to win the thing, which I'm not saying that other teams don't. I'm just saying that at that sorry kid, I mean, he was a mentor to Garrett.
Oh, no doubt. And that can happen really quickly, especially when you're an astounding talent like Aaron Rodgers. Look, a lot of people confuse confidence for arrogance. And that is, I don't blame anybody for that. And it's purely subjective whether or not you think somebody's arrogant or not. A lot of people think Aaron Rodgers is arrogant. Right. I honestly don't. When I hear him talk about his talents, he's honestly he's speaking the truth. Aaron Rodgers knows exactly how good he is. He is one of those players, one of the few players in the league who, if you parachute him into a situation with a team, that team becomes multiples of 10 better.
Right.
It's like Tom Brady when he went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's like Matthew Stafford when he parachuted in with the LA Rams. This is what the Jets were hoping for. Aaron Rodgers comes to New York, we win Super Bowl. Like that is the associative property of this math. That's how this works.
And it's not just athleticism, Rich. It's brains. It's the fight. He goes out there every play and tries to figure out a way to make that play work. And there's no give up in Aaron Rodgers.
And the Jets did everything right around it. They built that defense, and they had the defense in place before they moved him in. They built the offense from a skill position point before they brought Aaron Rodgers in. Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson were both rookies last season. They had really good seasons. They figured, we have weapons now. We can exploit this, so let's bring in the quarterback.
And by the way, nameless in terms of the quarterback. They were building around a quarterback. They didn't know it was going to be Aaron Rodgers. They were hoping it was going to be Zach Wilson. That didn't pan out with the second overall draft pick last year.
They brought in Derek Carr. They brought in other people. They were like trying to figure out who that quarterback was going to be, and then Aaron Rodgers became available, and it was like, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Yeah.
And it would have worked.
Yeah.
I mean, the Jets with Aaron Rodgers would be such a different team, or we would think about the Jets so differently, even if it was a very close win over the Bills, if things worked out similarly when Zach Wilson took over for the rest of the game. you would say, okay, well, I mean, rough start for the Jets. They got the win. They survived. It was a walk-off punt return in overtime. But you know what? As Aaron Rodgers and this offense matures together, things are going to look way better. But all of that is out the window. The Jets are kind of back at square one. We'll see what happens over the coming weeks, but you sort of feel like they're going to go out and try to get another quarterback in that room.
I think they have to, whether it's a backup, whether it's let's say Trey Lance, whether it's somebody, they need to. I think Carson Wentz is probably the most likely option. He's still floating out there.
Yeah.
What I teased it yesterday, but
yeah, right.
I know
Carson Wentz, Cam Newton, Nick Foles, Colt McCoy comes to mind. I'm trying to think. Colin Kaepernick,
Chad Penny's out there.
But as you throw those names out there, you go, oh my gosh, those are the names that were going. That's better than Zach Wilson.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean,
that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Like, because legitimately what he did last season, if that's reflective of what he's going to look like this season.
Well, what about just in that game on Monday night? That offense was so dumbed down. They weren't doing anything down the field. It was, if Zach Wilson was throwing the ball, it was within 5 yards. Jason McIntyre was an absolute mess yesterday on Colin's show.
I listened a little.
Dude, he was a wreck, but he brought up something and Colin kind of dismissed it for him being an emotional Jets fan. But we have a former offensive lineman in the room in Rich Ornberger, and I'm curious your take on it. We might need to save it for later. But does Dwayne Brown apologize to Aaron Rodgers in like a really meaningful, passionate way? Because Dwayne Brown missed the block that led to that hit.
Let's get to that on the other side.
Like, what is the offensive lineman responsibility there after the fact?
Let's get to that. That's a really great question, and it's a really complicated answer. So we'll get to that on the other side. And also, we're already off to the races talking about quarterbacks, focusing on New York, but we'll expand it to the rest of the league. Trust factor in quarterbacks and how one quarterback has changed football altogether. That's coming up next. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
Who should take the blame for the Aaron Rodgers injury and quarterback trust factor? We talk about it next.
This update is presented by Staples Stores. We'll begin with the Padres. They fall last night to the Dodgers 11-2 in LA. Other news to come out of last night, Yu Darvish officially shut down for the rest of the year with that elbow injury. In the NFL, Aaron Rodgers officially missing the entire season now with a ruptured Achilles. That news came down yesterday. The Jets are going to be starting backup Zach Wilson in his place this week against the Cowboys in Dallas. Next up in the NFL, Thursday Night Football between the Vikings and the Eagles in Philly. Eagles 3-point favorites as of now. And in college football, Aztecs hit the road for the first time this season. On Saturday, they head up to Corvallis. They'll be taking on the Oregon State Beavers. $10 says that your local Staples now accepts Amazon returns. Now, when you return an Amazon order at Staples, you receive a coupon for $10 off your next Staples purchase of $30 or more. In-store only. Exclusions apply. Staples, your new favorite place for Amazon returns.
It's Big Rich, Sheedy, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760, and you can join us and the San Diego Blood Bank in saving lives by donating blood at the iHeartRadio Blood Drive. That is, Blood Drive, if I can pronounce it correctly.
Well.
Yeah. Easy there, Mr. Pronunciator.
You're doing great.
It's happening this Friday, September 15th from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at our studios located at 9660 Granite Ridge Drive. Your donation can help patients with cancer, severe burns, trauma, childbirth complications, and a whole lot more. And one donation could save up to 3 lives. All types are needed. All donors get a pair of free admissions to the Del Mar Racetrack Fall Meet or the Fleet Science Center while supplies last. You can make your appointment at san diego bloodbank.org today.
Man, oh man. So many things going on this week, including I'm hopping on a flight, guys, to Corvallis, Oregon.
Yeah.
Woo!
Beautiful up there.
Yeah. That's what I heard. I've never been. Super excited. Been in the state of Oregon before, but never to Corvallis. Interested to walk around, see the sights and sounds. Obviously, the Aztecs have a huge game coming up this weekend against Oregon State. The Beavs, that's an afternoon kickoff this Saturday. You're going to hear it right here on San Diego Sports 760.
Lots of rivers, lots of green.
Yeah. Maybe I'll go hiking.
Lots of trees.
Imagine I get lost. Imagine I get lost and Uncle Teddy's like, Richard has not reported back to me. I am here alone in the booth.
Survivor, man.
They have a pretty badass stadium too, don't they?
They have a brand new stadium. Yeah, new everything, new team basically. I mean, the Beavers, this isn't your father's Beavers. This isn't your mother's Beavers either. This is a different Beaver. A whole okay. Well, Beavers got teeth. Tell you that
They're
right now.
also the 16th ranked team in the country heading into this matchup with the Aztecs this Saturday.
They're good. When you turn on the film, there are a couple of players who stand out. Their quarterback's very talented. It's going to be a task, man. This is going to be a task, especially rolling off a tough loss against UCLA. And then you're going to go to Oregon State. You know, you're just hoping to improve some of the things that you have to. But to get better on the season. And then it's a short week into Boise. You play them on Friday night here at Snapdragon.
Before we
2 weeks from now.
Before we get to that question that I asked you about the offensive line, a different offensive lineman has been quoted in the NFL, and it was Trent Williams, the 49ers left tackle. He was quoted this morning saying he found himself rooting for the Steelers to actually get a first down in week 1 so he could get a break.
Oh my God.
Because the Steelers offense was that bad.
Okay, so that is a perfect segue back to your question about Dwayne Brown and Aaron Rodgers. But before we get to that, holy smokes, man. Early in the season, if your defense was really good and you had a situation like that where
the Steelers had 1 yard in the first half.
Well, they also, it wasn't even just that. They went 3 and out, punt, 3 and out, punt. 3 plays interception, 3 and out punt, 3 and out punt. They had 5 series where they were 3 and out every series. Every single series, they had 1 yard of total offense. The San Francisco 49ers offense, I believe they were already on the field for something like 40 plays going into halftime to the Steelers like 12.
And they had 233 yards of offense in the first half, so it's not like they were staying put. They were moving.
They were driving.
And Trent Williams, if you know the Niners offense, is sprinting behind the line of scrimmage sometimes. Like, he's not your everyday left tackle because he's moving a lot more than most of them.
Well, it doesn't even matter whether you're, in the backfield or in motion. It's exhausting either way. The most exhausting thing I think you could do, in my opinion, now, look, I played football, so this is what I know. But try to push a sled that weighs, I don't know. I mean, with the force that a defensive lineman is coming at you with, say 1,000-pound sled.
Jeez.
Every 15 seconds for 3 hours.
Right.
Like, and by the way, you'll be able to take some breaks, but it'll be at random. So you'll do that 15 times over the course of like 8 minutes, and then you'll take a break for a little bit. You come back out. It's by the end of the game, you are so damn exhausted. So Trent Williams, my hat's off to you for being honest.
We need to really reevaluate who's in the best shape on a football field, because I think it might be offensive linemen.
I never thought of it. In the best shape.
Best shape as far as
cardio.
Cardio conditioning.
Because I think that they have the hardest job.
Yeah. Let me think. Well, some of it is anaerobic work. Like, it's almost like imagine the hardest reps of doing like, a heavy squat. Like, so the first 2 go pretty easily, but you're trying to get to 6. So those last 4, you're grinding it out. It's like every rep you take on the football field as an offensive lineman are like those last 4 reps, and it's absolutely miserable. I don't know. Receivers run a lot, especially in some of these offenses now.
But it's not restricted run. You know what I mean?
I mean, if you're talking, physically, you would think it'd be a receiver or a cornerback. I mean, they're probably the leanest out there on the field.
They're the leanest for sure. Yeah.
Right. But I mean, if you're saying who's working the hardest, it probably is the offensive line.
Yeah. Also, you know what? Defensive linemen, they get breaks. Linebackers sometimes get breaks. Receivers, they get breaks. You'll spell guys. Offensive linemen, they're in the game the whole game.
And there's a lot of defensive linemen, especially, who will rotate out.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
That's what I'm saying. They get breaks.
Hockey line changes.
Yeah, a guy will tap on his helmet. He'll come running off the field, or certain personnel packages. If you're in your base defense versus your nickel or your dime package, or it could be, there's a variety of different things. So yeah, that's interesting. The Dwayne Brown question, though. So Jason McIntyre, is that who brought it up?
Yeah, Jason brought it up in one of his, like, in Jason with the News, during the herd. And Colin dismissed it immediately and said, "You're being an emotional Jets fan," which he is. But I thought it was a really good point. Like, Dwayne Brown missed the block on Leonard Floyd that led to Aaron Rodgers getting smushed and his Achilles popping. Does Dwayne Brown have any sort of responsibility for what happened to Aaron Rodgers in terms of that may be the last play of his career?
Yeah, this is interesting for Rich.
It's okay. Yes, he does have a responsibility. And I promise you, he's taking it to heart and he's taking it seriously because everybody in that building knows what happened. He got the quarterback. I'll give you a story and it'll tell the whole story to you. One time in training camp, no, it was preseason. We were playing in a game, and my offensive line coach in New England paused the film. It was Tom Brady working with a bunch of the second team offensive linemen. And he goes, "You know who that is?" And nobody knew who he was talking about because he didn't point to anybody. He goes, "Does anybody know who that is?" And nobody spoke. So then he took the laser pointer out and he starts circling Tom Brady on the film. Like he's picking himself up after being hit by one of the defensive linemen. And he's like, "Do you know who that is?" And he goes, "All right. If nobody's going to answer, I'll tell you. It's Tom Brady." And by the way, it's not just Tom Brady. That's our whole season right there. That guy right there, number 12, who's picking himself up off the ground with a bunch of idiots standing around talking about the blocks they missed instead of helping him off the ground. That is our whole season right there. So if he does get knocked to the ground, go help him up. Make sure he's okay. Because if he gets hurt, we're done. And that's no offense to the other guys who are in the quarterback room down the hall from us right now, but none of them are Tom Brady. So you make sure that he stays on his feet. Do you understand that? And it was a message to all of us like, look, there are people who are important in any company, but then there are certain people who you know are irreplaceable. Aaron Rodgers, unfortunately for Dwayne Brown, is one of those people. And so that weighs heavy on your head as an offensive lineman.
And I don't know if your coach brought it up in that film session, but where my mind goes to is it's not only that that's the guy that's in charge of our season, that's the guy who's going to get you a bigger paycheck next time you're up for contract because he's going to make you look better. He's going to make me look better as a coach. He's going to make Coach Belichick look better. And so if you're looking to extend your NFL career and Tom Brady is not your quarterback, your offensive line is going to look worse. Your wide receivers are going to look worse. Hell, your defense is even going to look worse because they're going to be on the field more.
Yeah, but you're not thinking that during the game.
No,
I mean, during the game, it's whatever plan you've laid out and whatever's supposed to happen in that particular play. That's all that's running through your head.
Yeah, Travis. 100%.
Right. I mean, so when you're talking about who is to blame here, I mean, to me, that injury is part of the game. Yeah, it's your fault you didn't pick up the block. I get it, but at the same time, is it Aaron Rodgers' fault that he didn't just fall on the ground? I mean, that he tried to break the tackle? Look, it's an injury. It happens. I mean, again, I understand you didn't pick up the block, but it's also part of the game. I mean, it's just I don't know. It seems like a crazy question to me.
Yeah, while we were discussing it, I quickly searched if Dwayne had talked about it, and let's see. So this from CBS Sports. It was a cut block. I went to cut the defensive end, Brown said. He played it well, and he got home, and he hit Aaron. And this was obviously the post-game reaction to what he saw on the field. He said, "It sucks, man. I got all the respect in the world and love for Aaron. I just hate to see him out there like that." Look, you again, like he said, you throw at a guy's legs, you try to get him down to the ground to avoid him getting to your quarterback. Route timing gets screwed up, and then all of a sudden that defensive player makes a play. Yeah, you can blame the offensive lineman, and I'm sure in some ways Dwayne Brown is blaming himself this week for it. But the other part of it is you have a mission to take care of still. It's game one. Yeah. You actually got to win. And you got to win over a divisional opponent.
Right.
So a lot of season ahead. I'm not saying it's as rosy of an outlook for the Jets as it was when number 12 was your quarterback, but you got to move on from there. Okay, we delayed it because that was a very interesting question, but there's one other quarterback in the league who has completely statistically changed the way the game is played at the NFL level. We'll get to that player on the other side, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. Underdog Fantasy. That is the app you need to download, and you need to do it before Thursday. Why? Well, it is my favorite way to take in primetime football. So, Underdog Fantasy is the fastest growing fantasy app in the world right now, and it's also my favorite fantasy app. Here's the way it works. You go on, you can play some of the drafts, but I love this pick'em game, right? You go to the NFL pick'em, you can pick players who are going to be appearing in the game that you're watching. You can pick higher or lower on stat categories like how many receiving touchdowns that they may have or how many passing yards they may have. It's that easy. You have two selections, pick higher or lower. All right. And you can pick up to 5 players and you have an opportunity to win up to 20 times your money in a single game going 5 for 5. It's completely legal in California, by the way, and it's a ton of fun. If you haven't signed up yet, download the Underdog Fantasy app and use my promo code XTRA. That's XTRA. That's it. 4 simple letters when you sign up, and you're going to get your first deposit doubled up to $100. So if you put in 50, it turns into 100. If you put in $100, it turns into 200, and then you can go and play those pick'em games. I've won these several times. You could pick 2 players battling against each other in rivals mode, or you can go with a full-on pick'em, a 2, 3, 4, 5 player pick'em, and you can win some serious dough. Ben was 20 yards, 2 fantasy points away from winning on Monday night with the Jets and the Bills. So download the Underdog Fantasy app. It is super fun, super easy. And if you have a problem with gambling, I want you to call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. When you have a special quarterback, you have just about everything you need in the NFL. I remember when Andrew Luck joined the Colts. Colts were a disaster. And in an instant, you realize, oh, wow, now they have a chance. Like everything changed.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't have an offensive line in front of him for years. And he was just so special and such a difference maker out of Stanford. His first year in the NFL, I think he won 11 games.
He was just getting the snot kicked out of him the whole way, too.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what his record was, but I'll look back on the Colts. The deal is this, though. Aaron Rodgers to the Jets was supposed to be that. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes, since he's joined the Kansas City Chiefs, has been that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's changed the game. Actually, I don't know who put it in the rundown, but the Mahomes effect is real.
Yeah.
It is 100% real.
This was an article Dan Orlovsky and Jeremy Fowler did on ESPN, and I read the whole thing because it's fascinating, man. But essentially, over the last 2 years, teams have stopped throwing the ball deep, and the reason is because defenses have had to adjust for Patrick Mahomes, and since it's a copycat league, every offense has started doing what the Chiefs were doing when it was successful, and now every defense has reacted by playing those deep zones that really take away the long ball.
Well, yeah, it's one of the most effective strategies to get into the scoring zone. And if you have a competent team in the red zone, then you're going to win a lot of football games because you're scoring 6 instead of 3 points on those visits to the 20-yard line in. And the Kansas City Chiefs majored in hucking the ball down the field, down the seam to Travis Kelce, down the sideline to McCole Hardman when he was there, obviously Tyreek Hill when he was there. And over the years, this has been a really successful formula for the Kansas City Chiefs. And you're right, last season, especially at the start of the season, you started to seeing more deep cover 3 or cover 2 looks, like the Tampa 2 zone really started getting played more. And what I mean by that, Tampa 2, for anybody who doesn't know what that means, you have 2 deep safeties, right? They're patrolling halves of the football field.
Right.
So literally draw a line down the middle of the football field. You've got one half, I've got the other half. And then obviously you have under zones as well. The middle linebacker has a huge amount of responsibility. And so what you're seeing is teams drafting faster linebackers as a result.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want these giant run stuffing guys who can't stay on the field for 3 downs because that's a liability in pass coverage.
Now linebackers look like Fred Warner.
Yeah.
Who can just move all over the field side to side, and they have almost that defensive end type of body where it's lean and tall.
No, more like think a larger safety. Like a hybrid, like a safety, like almost like a Cam Chancellor is becoming almost like what you're looking for in your linebacker.
Right.
You know, so less of a run thumping, run stopping linebacker, because I mean, nobody wants to run the ball. Everybody wants to pass it now.
Earlier in the hour here, you brought up trust factor of quarterbacks in the league. We were talking about Aaron Rodgers, and I mean, Aaron Rodgers is a quarterback that you bring onto a team, you trust the guy. I mean, wholeheartedly, you trust he's gonna make the right decisions. He's gonna go out and win a game for you. If you start looking across the league in quarterbacks, when I'm thinking about trust factor, there's really only a handful that I completely trust that these guys are going to win the games. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is one of them. I'd say Josh Allen, I still trust as we're waiting to see how this season plays out. Justin Herbert, I feel like I trust in. Jalen Hurts.
Brock Purdy, obviously.
You know, and that's what I was going to get to. I do not trust Purdy. Not yet. I don't care the record 8-1. I still don't have the trust.
And I don't blame you, Travis. And I know Ben is an enormous Niners fan, and that's the reason why in Brock he trusts.
You know, only quarterback in history for his first 6 regular season starts to have 2 touchdown passes and win all 6 of them.
That is
only one in history.
That is a stat that I feel like only one person in San Diego knows.
Well,
and we're sitting in the room with him.
But it almost feels like if you put a 16-year-old in a dragster and then had him run down the track and went, well, he's now the fastest guy ever to go down a quarter mile.
I can't wait for the day when everyone realizes, oh, no, he's actually a good quarterback.
Well, it's going to take a while.
Yeah.
Because the reality is Tom Brady for years was considered a game manager. And then you start realizing, no, as that window shut on that team, and they were bringing new players in where he was helping develop those players, that's when the thought process flipped, where you were like, oh, no. He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, And with this next generation of player coming to the then New England Patriots, now we're talking about Brock Purdy with the San Francisco 49ers. If he has that effect, it's only then that he's going to get the respect that he probably deserves. Because the reality is, he got parachuted into the best possible situation. Now, do I think his composure is unbelievable? Yeah. But I don't trust him either. I don't trust Dak.
Nope.
I don't trust Kirk Cousins. I don't trust Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, there's a lot of good teams out there who have quarterbacks who you look at and your head tilts to the side. You're like, can they ever win a Super Bowl with him? And the answer is probably not.
Well, because you've seen that quarterback have things unravel real quick. And Brock Purdy, I have not seen that yet. And also, when you talk about his composure, when that game started, when they took the field, they had a close-up of Purdy's face in the helmet, and his eyes were locked in.
Yeah.
I mean, he was ready to rock and roll.
He's got some moxie to him. So the Mahomes effect by the numbers. There were 3,416 attempts at least 15 yards downfield during last regular season. That's the fewest in any season since 2006. The trend continued on the first week of the NFL season this year.
So you're saying as a result of the defensive reaction, we're seeing a lot more underneath routes available to be thrown because they're taking away the deep part of the field.
Which is the opposite of what the NFL wants, but that's what the NFL has come to now.
Well, it's what defenses have to do. Yeah, I mean, it's any
because
innovation.
The rules have changed to make it easier to play defense or to make it easier to play offense, harder to play defense. And quarterbacks have gotten better and bigger arms.
By the way, this is the analytics revolution that harms sports. When you become smarter, you then want to do the things that work. In baseball, it makes the sport more boring. So you see walks, strikeouts, or home runs because these managers and these analytics people upstairs know that that's what wins baseball games and championships.
And in football, we're seeing more quick slants, more 5-yard ins, more 5-yard outs, and more passing to the running back behind the line of scrimmage.
It's going to continue until obviously defenses have to change their mind about what's going to stop an offense more effectively, or offenses figure out how to defeat this. We may see a revival of the run game, by the way, this season as a result of this, because when you play more zone, when you have two safeties and they're out of the box, it opens up more run lanes. So all of a sudden we may have a resurgence of those running back situations. Speaking of running, I want to talk to you about the Good Feet store. These Good Feet arch supports have numerous benefits, from pain relief to better balance, performance, injury prevention, and even recovery. I was wearing my Good Feet store arch supports on the golf course yesterday. We all went out to Steel Canyon with one of our listeners, and it was an absolute blast. But I used to feel awful the day after golf. You spend a lot of time on your feet. And this morning I woke up feeling great. Okay, so I had ankle pain and hip pain that was really starting to come on, and back pain that has been present through my NFL career and afterward. And it's virtually been eliminated by wearing these Good Feet arch supports, which are precision fit to your personal needs, your lifestyle, your profession, and even your footwear. So get to a Good Feet store. They have 200 plus locations around the U.S. and overseas, or go to goodfeet.com. Coming up next hour, a lot of show to get to. Also, we have a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Hollow Scream, so be looking for that. Eytan Shander joining us. We're going to talk about this Philadelphia Eagles game on Thursday night and what's in the box coming up as well. All that next. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch.
It's hour 2 on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by Macy's Backstage. We will begin with the Padres here. They fall last night to the Dodgers 11-2 in LA. Other news to come from last night. Yu Darvish officially shut down for the rest of the year with his elbow. In the NFL, Aaron Rodgers officially will miss the entire season with a ruptured Achilles tendon. The Jets will start backup Zach Wilson in his place this week against the Cowboys in Dallas. Next week in the NFL, Thursday night football between the Vikings and the Eagles in Philadelphia. Eagles 3-point favorites as of right now. Eytan Shander going to be joining the show from Philadelphia at 7:30 to talk about that matchup. College football, the Aztecs hit the road for the first time this week on Saturday. They're heading up to Corvallis to take on the Oregon State Beavers, who are ranked 16th in the country as of right now. What will you find at Macy's Backstage? Here's a hint. Fall finds for $25 and under, like sharp blazers, cozy sweaters, cargo pants, jackets, and more. Find the latest trends and new arrivals at a Macy's Backstage store near you.
Yeah! Woo! Happy hump day to those who celebrate. It's a Wednesday here on Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. And we've already reached the halfway point. This week is flying by. We have a lot to do coming up later in the show. We're going to be playing a little game show called What's in the Box. What's in the Box is a game show that we created here that we still have a very loose definition on the rules, like many of our game shows. Today, Ben hid something in the box. Travis and I don't know what's in that box.
Crap, I don't think I remember what's in the box.
That's going to be a problem.
That's going to be rough as we ask questions about what's in the box.
Maybe I'll take a peek.
Yeah, you ought to take a peek. And then we're going to, in a few minutes here, we're going to be asking for a listener contestant to jump on the show, and they're going to help Travis and I decide what exactly is in the box. And then we're going to take our best guess. If we guess correctly on behalf of the listener, or if the listener, he or himself, guesses what's in the box, they win a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld.
By a few minutes, do you mean like in an hour?
Yeah.
Because that's what was on the rundown.
Yeah,
Okay, nothing changed.
You know what? That's good. That's good that you ruined the tease, because what I'm looking for is people to think that we're giving them away this hour.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, so they keep listening.
I just didn't want to lie.
No.
What's a few minutes?
And I need to make sure that I know what's in the box if we're starting this game show in 5 minutes.
Well, that's also true.
What?
Wait a second. You use
What the
talkback
hell?
all the time, and you whisper naughty things in our ears. This stuff you can just ask us. Yes, it's coming up at exactly 8:10.
I'm sorry.
Ben, are you an idiot?
No.
Don't answer the answer.
I wanted to
Hold
make
on.
sure.
With What's in the Box game show, I feel like we should probably start to hammer down some of the rules. That way, if the first contestant, like, they have a certain finite number of questions, and if they don't get it, and they can roll to the next.
Yeah.
But we have been playing like, we'll just keep them on here until we figure it out.
Yeah. We should probably have like
20 questions.
20 questions, and then listeners waiting on the line.
Right.
And if you don't get in 20, maybe we'll afford the next listener 5 more questions.
That's what I'm thinking as well.
Yeah. Okay,
You've got all the questions. You get 5 more when you're the next one.
Man, this is
It's getting intense.
Well, listen, you have about an hour, so start writing down your questions.
My brain's not working.
You actually have 62 and a half minutes.
I do feel for you, because I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
Like the we're all a little fuzzy because we've been losing so much damn weight so quickly.
Doctors recommend 2 pounds per week.
Yeah, we're not listening to that recommendation.
Well, no, whoa. We are following a healthy diet plan.
And also we are in touch with the doctor.
Yes, that is true.
We in fact, we had the big group text going with doctor yesterday.
That's right.
So we're all on a diet plan.
We're all doing it correctly. We're doing it healthy. We're doing it safely. We're doing it per a doctor's plan.
Yeah.
We're just so fat that it's coming off so quickly.
As a show, since Friday, we've lost 28 pounds. Since Friday.
That took us 4 weeks earlier.
I mean, dude, clearly we weren't doing it right 4 weeks ago, because now we've actually lost weight. Wow. Okay.
My clothes are not fitting any differently yet. So I think that like the last, that's the last pounds that you put on or the first pounds to go.
Oh, right.
So I think the last place that I was putting on weight was my neck. Yeah.
It is a glorious neck. And it does look smaller.
I feel like it's shrinking a little bit.
Neck. I just picture him like eating a dozen donuts over a weekend. He comes in and me and Ben are just like, have you seen Travis's neck? That thing is huge. Good Lord. It just looks like a thumb with headphones.
I'm a little worried when we get this dog. I'm gonna like look at it and be like, you look tasty.
Yeah. Dude,
yeah,
I'm telling you right now, you were sending pictures of that puppy to us in the group text. And I'm like, I would eat that dog. I have not had enough protein. I'm going to eat that dog.
It's a tiny dog. Not a lot of protein in him.
No, I mean, well, there's not a lot of protein in chicken wings. They are delicious.
That is true.
And
That is
allowed.
very true.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
I did some air fryer chicken wings last night.
I had to go to Costco last night. Good Lord. There's a lot of snacks.
I need to put in an Instagram order because Anne's doing this diet plan with me. And she was like, if you eat all of the food that we're supposed to eat, it leaves me with none. And I'm just like, sounds like a you problem. Gotta run, honey. And then I'm like, no, I'll order food. I'll get it delivered.
Caleb came in and he's like, oh, this is so cool, man. We have so much fruit and berries that we never have that. I'm like, do not touch that. That's my only source of nutrition.
We're eating so many berries. All right. Anyways, I know it sounds like it's a bit on the inside right now. We will reveal exactly what diet plan we're on here in the coming days. It's really going to come down to days for us. So we will we'll unveil that shortly. Mm-hmm. But there's been an interesting situation brewing in the back burner of the NFL for a while. Racial discrimination, hiring practices that obviously are way out of balance in terms of how many people who are white get hired for certain jobs and how many people who are black or minority get hired for jobs. And I'm talking about at the front office level with executives, the head coaching level, certainly at the NFL level, but also, in terms of just people who work in a front office, assistants, people who have other various occupations all across the NFL. And so Jim Trotter, who formerly worked for a long time with the San Diego Union Tribune, most recently worked for NFL Media, which owns the NFL Network, has launched a discriminatory hiring practices discrimination lawsuit against the league. And he's claiming a bunch of things. One was, I guess, secondhand information he received from a reporter who was on a Zoom call with Terry Pagula, who had made some racially insensitive remarks. Jim Trotter alleges that Jerry Jones, owner of the Dallas Cowboys, by the way, Terry Pagula is the owner of the Buffalo Bills. Jim Trotter said that he spoke with Jerry Jones, and he said to him personally some racially insensitive remarks. And so he's looking for remuneration. He's looking, obviously, for change. And that's the reason why he launched this lawsuit. Did you guys read through any of the articles about this?
A little bit. A lot of it stems from when Jim was asking Roger Goodell questions at one of the Super Bowl conferences, and it was about the lack of diversity in coaching rooms across the NFL. And I think since then, Jim is no longer with the NFL Network. I think that there's a lot of other things going back. And by the way, we all have a relationship with Jim Trotter. Like, I've known Jim for years. He's a really great dude and a super talented writer. And I think he has a legitimate gripe here.
Well, he's alleging that he was let go from that job because of the color of his skin.
And because of some of the questions he was asking.
Right.
Which were about racial diversity across the NFL.
Yeah. I don't know when he lost the job, but he was working with the NFL media this year. So it had to have been this year that he lost that job. And so I'm sure on the heels of that situation, he gave it a lot of thought and a lot of pause, and maybe some of the things that he experienced, which obviously are included in this lawsuit. Look, this is one of those situations that obviously expands way, way farther out than just football. This is a situation or a topic that's discussed politically. It's discussed externally and internally when you're talking about any major corporation or company across the country. So it's interesting that in a sport where obviously what you're doing, what the aim is for the sport is to provide entertainment, that these real world situations, they hit close to home. You know, the Black Lives Matter protests that were occurring across this country obviously sparked a ton of interest and a groundswell of support, not just in the NFL, but in the NBA, Major League Baseball. You saw protests during games. And it's a fine line. It's a fine line because this lawsuit is representative of all that. But at the end of the day, fans of football, fans of basketball, fans of baseball, they're showing up for the sport. They're not showing up to be involved in a protest. They're not showing up to support a cause necessarily. And as a result of that, the NFL saw a decrease in ratings. You saw a plummeting of ratings in the NBA. Not everything can be attributed to protests during that time. There's always other variables. But I know for a fact, because I've talked to a lot of people who have insight. I've talked to people with the insight about this. There's a firm belief that had a lot to do with it.
I think if football and beer kind of go hand in hand, we've seen what's happened with a certain beer brand across the country over the last few months. Like if you're doing one thing against a part of your fan base, and I'm not saying who's right, who's wrong. I'm really politically in the middle of everything, but like there's certain things you don't want to piss off your fan base with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean politically, I don't know. I'm definitely not in the middle of everything, but if you take a step back and I'm trying to go enjoy sports, I'm with you. I don't want any politics in it. I don't care left or right, anything. And I understand as well look, they are trying to use a platform to create a voice and get a message out. And I get it. I mean, I understand that. I completely understand it. I think that in a day and age right now, man, I would hope that we are not having to fight about skin color. Unfortunately, we are still, and the Black Lives Matter movement, I think, was a wake up call to that. I think that whether you were for it or against it, the thing that came out of it is a conversation, and that we're talking about it, and that if we're talking about it, we can fix wrongs. We can move forward from things. Which I mean, so things have to be in the discussion. The Jim Trotter thing is heartbreaking if this is reality. I know these are just allegations. I mean, things will come out. Truth will come out. We'll start to get to the bottom of it. And hopefully, if there are wrongs, that they can be corrected and they won't happen again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really well put, Travis. And I'll just add to it. I agree with you. Like I have strong beliefs politically. And everybody in this country, actually, I shouldn't say everyone, because there are certain people who don't pay attention to politics, and good for you if that's the way you want to live your life. I think it's great. I also think it's great that nobody's forcing you to care about anything. Like you can care about whatever you want. But I have strong political beliefs. I know this about myself. And I think I speak for a lot of people when I say this. I know that it became abundantly clear to me that I am in support of a lot of causes, and I mean a lot of causes that are important to players, guys who I played with in locker rooms. But I do know that it does affect how I view the entertainment value of games that are being played. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit odd. That picture gets tilted a little askew. It puts you on a different sort of plane of thought leading into kickoff. And I'm not saying that isn't a good thing, and I'm not saying it doesn't raise awareness for a lot of people, but it does change the product. It absolutely changes the product. So the reason why I bring that up is because what the NFL is going to do with this Jim Trotter situation is they are going to completely try to take care of this away from the light of day.
Yeah.
This may be the last time that this makes headlines, because they will find a way to settle with him. They will find a way to make him happy, and they are going to move on like the cash creating machine that they've been over the years,
which is not necessarily a good thing.
I'm not saying it is, but I'm telling you that is what's going to happen with this. And and again, like Ben said, I know Jim Trotter personally. I've had many personal interactions with him. He's a great person, a really, really, really good reporter and writer. And like you said, Travis, I hope what he's alleging is resolved,
Yeah.
because that some of these allegations are pretty brutal.
And when you talk about it changing a product, I mean, think of did you watch 24?
Hell yeah, Jack Bauer, bro.
Okay,
Come
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
fantastic show. I love 24. The later seasons of 24, all of a sudden there was product placement in the show. Like he would answer on his Sprint cell phone, and you'd have like a 5-second close up of the Sprint logo. I mean, or it was he was driving a Hyundai, and so like we
But
had to have
Travis,
the
he needs all that to stop the terrorists.
right. No, I get it. I
CTE,
get it.
baby.
I'm just saying,
but it's like a slow
Yeah.
sip of the Pepsi, and it's just like glistening with all the
right. And I mean, I understand you're trying to make money, but what pushing a different message or pushing a narrative in a show that I'm just trying to watch. Yeah. God, I loved it.
Yeah.
I love this show. I love it.
Remember when you were going into commercial break, you started hearing that,
Yeah.
and coming out of commercial break,
Yeah.
dude, that was a good show.
That was when primetime TV, like made for TV shows were great.
Mhm.
Oh,
And there was like twice in the whole run of the show. They did like 7-8 seasons or something.
Mhm.
They had moments in the show where they would end the TV show without the clock ticking, and it was after like the two most impactful deaths on the show.
Oh wow!
And it was
Yeah.
like they just went to silence instead of having the doot 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 doot
Wow.
doot doot.
Wow.
wow.
Yeah, dude,
Wow.
they had it figured out.
Yeah.
But 24
24
Or,
was so
the
good.
phone ringing of
Yeah, the CTE one, yeah.
I'm sure where you were heading with this was the fact that they started promoting products, and that it took you out of the script.
yes.
Well, it's
it did.
diluting the product of the show.
Yeah, right. Right.
It's a fine line. It's
Yeah.
a fine line.
Yeah.
And by the way, and again, I know we were going to get to this a little bit later on, move things around a little bit here, but Bills Jets Monday Night Football was the top football game ever on Monday Night Football to start the season. 22.6 million viewers. That tops 21.8 million for Packers Vikings all the way back in week 4 of 2009. Okay, so
Wow.
you're talking about a lot of people in this country tuning in for Monday Night Football. And oh, by the way, immediately following that, that's when we find out about the Jim Trotter lawsuit. So there's tactfulness on both sides of this.
Well, but that is all. Yeah, I mean, tactfulness on that is he wants to get that message in front of as many people as possible.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a strategic move. It's smart.
Yeah, and same with the NFL.
Yeah.
And that's my point and that's really the biggest point here that I'm making is obviously we're in support of people who have been harmed by a system that's not caring for them. If in this case, what he's alleging is true based on the color of their skin, awful, like absolutely awful. But at the same token, there are public relations tactics going on both sides. So the reason why this lawsuit was launched in week 1 of the NFL season and not buried in the summer when nobody's paying attention to football necessarily, when all teams go dark during that time after OTAs before training camp opens, is very tactful. And similarly, the NFL will be very tactful with their response. And so again, like I said, this is a headline and there's some brutal allegations being made against owners across the NFL. But this is going to be the last time you see it. The next, you won't hear about what happens next, because unless Jim Trotter wants to take this, I mean, all the way to the hilt,
Which he might.
Yeah,
Which
he
he
might.
might. Which he might.
And knowing Jim, that wouldn't surprise me.
My guess is the NFL is going to handle this with money.
Probably.
Well, yeah. Well, if he takes it all the way to the hilt, that's how he makes change.
We'll find out. We will find out. Okay. Also, we need to find out about this Thursday night football game we got coming up. It is the Philadelphia Eagles. Who are they facing? Why do I keep forgetting?
Vikings.
Thank you. Philly is going to host the Minnesota Vikings. Eytan Shander is going to be joining us. Coming up next, we'll get the Philadelphia Eagles side of the story. That's on the other side.
We got to check in on this Thursday night game, tomorrow night's game in the NFL. We're going to talk with Eytan Shander from Philadelphia next.
This update is presented by Macy's Backstage. We will begin here with college football. Aztecs hitting the road for the first time this week. They'll be up on Saturday as they head up to Corvallis to take on the Oregon State Beavers. Uncle Teddy and Rich will be on the call starting at 12:30. We got pregame coverage starting for you here in San Diego at 10:30 a.m. Padres last night, they fall to the Dodgers 11-2 in LA. Other news to come from last night, Yu Darvish officially shut down for the rest of the year with the elbow injury. In the NFL, Aaron Rodgers officially shut down for the rest of the year with the ruptured Achilles. The Jets will start backup Zach Wilson in his place this week against the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas. Next up in the NFL, Thursday night football between the Vikings and the Eagles in Philly. Eagles 3-point favorites as of right now. We're going to catch up with Eytan Shander from Philly to talk about the game. What will you find at Macy's Backstage? Here's a hint. Fall finds for $25 and under, like sharp blazers, cozy sweaters, cargo pants, jackets, and more. Find the latest trends and new arrivals at a Macy's Backstage store near you.
Big Rich, Sheedy, and Fletch, San Diego Sports 760 on a Wednesday, but starting on Monday, September 18th, when you listen on your free iHeartRadio app, you unlock your shot at taking home part of music history. Open the free iHeartRadio app and win exclusive prizes signed by some of this year's legendary performers at our iconic 2023 iHeartRadio Music Festival. No one connects artists and fans like iHeartRadio. Download the iHeartRadio app today and get ready for the biggest weekend in music. iHeartRadio, free, never sounded so good.
Yep, you nailed it right there. Okay, coming up Thursday night football, it's Tuesday, so we're 48 hours away, which means we are officially allowed to start looking ahead.
No.
Oh, it's Wednesday. Oh my God.
It's tomorrow.
I went back into time.
Yeah.
Am I a time traveler? This is unbelievable. No, you're absolutely right. Yesterday, I guess it's because of the golf. My whole day got upended, but it was for the best reason. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch, this show right here, if you go to sportssd.com and go to the prizes and promotions page, you can get a free round of golf with us. All you got to do is sign up. So check that out. We took out CJ, one of our listeners, yesterday on a Tuesday at Steel Canyon. That course is great. We enjoyed some long ball transfusions. Those are out now in stores everywhere and at golf courses, including Steel Canyon. Alan Shearer does a great job with that course.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, that place was top notch. All right. Eytan Shander. You've heard him on this radio program before. He joins us right now. He does betting for Odd Shopper. He's on TV with Fox Philly, and he's a writer for the Philly Voice. And we got a big one coming up on Thursday, Eytan. So the Philadelphia Eagles survive in Foxborough. They escape with a win. The Vikings fall to the Bucks. What? I mean, that wasn't supposed to happen. But Travis actually said this earlier in the week. He said, really, Thursday night kind of feels like a week one reset. Like, because what we saw with the Vikings, there's no way they could repeat that, right? Or do you think they will against this Philadelphia defense? Kirk Cousins, the turnovers. Do you think the Philadelphia Eagles could do that again on Thursday night?
I think that both teams, and good to be on with you guys again, and you got me thinking golf too, just so you know, but I think both of these teams are in some trouble. And the biggest difference that jumps out to me is what happened at the end of the game, the scoreboard. The Eagles were not good against the Patriots. Bill Belichick had a game plan, and it worked. The Eagles got lucky, or maybe they created their own breaks, what have you, in the first quarter with Mac Jones looking putrid, but then they figured it out on New England's side, and all of a sudden, this was a close game. If you don't have that pick six from Darius Slay, the Eagles just did not generate much at all. Red zone field goal, and then, of course, you had Jake Elliott just monster-legging stuff. The Vikings are also in trouble. You laid it out there. It's inexcusable home loss to a team that was calling out their signs on the other side of it. So let's look at regression to the mean, right? Because that's what you're talking about. Which team kind of has this advantage on the short week? I think it's the Eagles, A, because I like the quarterback better than their quarterback, and that's always a key factor for me when it comes to a short week. But also, the Vikings have more issues, right? Like, even if I concede that the Eagles have to work through some stuff, the Vikings have to work through some stuff.
Yeah, no, you're right, Eytan. I'm not sure why Rich buried the lead here, though. Just saw the Eagles have teamed up with Little Caesars for a multi-year partnership. They are now the official pizza of the Philadelphia Eagles. Is Little Caesars strong enough of a pizza place to team up with the Eagles?
Hot and ready, bro.
Well, here's the thing. I'm assuming, based on the tone of your question, that Little Caesars is not a current sponsor of your radio, correct?
Not with us. I don't know.
Well, here's the deal, though. If they're listening, we want you to.
We are fine. You are so much better than us.
Little Caesars is slamming, and they should be on your show.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a little surprising. Look, I have to be honest with you, and I'm sorry. I'm just going to generalize this statement. There should never be a reason to eat fast food pizza. Like, there really should never be. There's somebody down the street from your house, wherever you live, that's making pizza, most likely professionally. So there's no reason, I think, to do that stuff. And here's Philadelphia, which always gets classified as like cheesesteak central. Oh, there's cheesesteaks, this, cheesesteak, that. We have a ton of really great worldly cuisine, and now we're just going to be reduced to pizza.
I wish pizza was still a thing. You remember when you could get two pizzas? They were like wrapped in paper.
And I forget what it was. It was either like a papal staff or the spear, and he would like slam it on the ground. The pizzas would flip over. Gosh,
I'm not enjoying the pizza slander. I love Little Caesars.
I do.
No.
Yeah.
Look, I used to work for Domino's, and when I was at Gettysburg College in the summer, and that's how I could sustain my spot there. So I get it. I've eaten plenty of it. I just, nowadays I'm thrown out of it, I guess.
And we got to tell you, Eytan, 7-Eleven pizza is no slouch either. Just throwing that out there. But Eytan, the Philadelphia,
that is a tall ask for me. I'm already banning fast food pizza. Now you want me to try 7-Eleven?
Try it.
Dude, we brought it into studio on National Cheese Pizza Day.
Pie Day.
Well, that was the first.
We've
done it a number of times.
Yeah.
We actually found that we can DoorDash from 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
But these Philadelphia Eagles, man, Jalen Hurts, obviously hell of a season last year. I was a Jalen Hurts doubter for a long time. I'm starting to change my tune on that. But I saw an article, and you might have written it actually, about how the culture has changed with Philadelphia because of Jalen Hurts. Can you speak to that a little bit, how Jalen Hurts is imposing a new era into Philadelphia?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that Jalen represents is stability. And that's so huge when the Eagles have been surrounded or internalized with drama. I'm telling you guys, for years, somebody would get fired. The Eagles would not win the Super Bowl, and somebody would have to get fired because it was blood in the water, and people like me and more successful and smarter people on the radio, louder people, if you can imagine that on the radio. Yeah, somebody's got to go. And the Eagles just constantly played into that, where there was internal drama. There was back and forth. There were power struggles. Howie Roseman versus Joe Banner, even though Banner brought Roseman on. Roseman versus Reed, even though Roseman was with Andy. And just not Chip Kelly taking over the entire organization by hostage. Carson Wentz being on a Super Bowl winning team and then just mentally imploding and forcing his own way out. All of the drama. It's not as bad as the Sixers, okay? So let me separate that. The Sixers have way worse drama. But for years, the Eagles were good in spite of chaos. And it was almost like, if you've ever dated somebody who just wants to fight, and it's like, there's so many great characteristics and qualities about this person, physically, mentally, spiritually, what have you, but damn it, they always want to fight. That's the Eagles. They were a great relationship partner. They were good, but there was always internal drama. There was always stuff happening. That's gone with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is so focused. Everybody's falling lock and step. Howie Roseman is so giddy right now running this organization because he knows that no matter what or who he puts in that locker room, it's going to be sustainable because they have a guy like Jalen Hurts. So a compass, if you will, but also a rock. That's Jalen Hurts. You guys look at him. I'm sure you've seen it already on the sideline. The guy can throw 3 interceptions. He can throw 3 touchdowns. He doesn't change. And that is key because he's like that off the field too.
Eytan Shander joining us on the Philadelphia Eagles this morning. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you. When I think about the Eagles, I think about Jalen Hurts. When I think about the Chiefs, I do think about Patrick Mahomes, but I think about Andy Reid, right? When I think about the Patriots, I think about Bill Belichick. Nick Sirianni, not getting enough credit. What are your thoughts on the head coach of the Eagles?
I think that he's figured some stuff out pretty quick and pretty fast in the NFL. And one of the biggest things is if you have a special talent at the quarterback spot, you have an opportunity to take risks, right? Like you can run Madden plays. You can do crazy stuff if you have a legit talent, a rock of a talent at that quarterback spot. So Nick Sirianni right away from an offensive standpoint, he takes risks. He rewards his players. Oh, man, we don't want to punt. It's 4th and short. It's not just the crowd that's vibing off stuff like that. So I think that he has completely been able to connect with his players. We were making fun of him at the start of his tenure because he was doing this crazy stuff coming out of the draft. Well, you know what? Anybody from Jason Kelce down to Jason Smith, that you never heard of on the team, is going to be, and there's not a Jason Smith, I'm just using that as an example. But that's the point, is that he's been able to connect with just about everybody. Taking risks, man, that's so key when it comes to offensive play calling. And I think that there's so much of the old guard caught up in it, and even analytics to an extent. Sirianni has branched out and kind of formed his own game plan and stuff, and is using so much of Jalen Hurts and relying so much on Jalen Hurts, and that's good because those other guys have built and earned their bones, if you will, in the NFL. Sirianni's still doing that, so it's not about hanging on Hurts' coattails so much as it's ensuring that Hurts is the vehicle to your success.
I think we should all order Jason Smith jerseys.
Yeah.
Hey, man,
I do agree.
what number? We got to make sure that we don't take a number already there. Like it can't be 0, right? Like I'm with you. Jason Smith Eagles jersey.
Well, Jason Smith Eagles jersey. We'll find the number. We'll figure it out. You know what? With the maybe poor play that happened last week with the Eagles, and if they come into this Thursday night and lose this game, is there some panic in Philadelphia?
Absolutely. Because so much is working against the Eagles to make it back to the Super Bowl this year, right? You don't see it. The Cowboys, last team in the NFC to do this, and that's 71, 72. So there's just something about the league. Even teams in the AFC, the Patriots, you have to look at teams like anomalies that come back and win after a loss. This is not easy. The NFL catches up. The NFL is week to week. The NFL is year to year. We know about the 6 up, 6 down teams that make the playoffs versus not. We also know that since I think it's 2014, there's a 67% chance that one of the 2 teams in the Super Bowl will not make the playoffs the following year. That could be injury, that could be just regression, that could be whatever. So absolutely. Oh, and by the way, we're Philadelphia. We panic over everything. So we already had ammunition coming into this. Now you add the fact that it's just who we are. Absolutely. Look, if they're down at the half, expect boos. If they're down in the fourth quarter, expect boos. If they lose the game, expect panic.
Man, oh man, it's tough being
It's week 2.
It's tough being a Philadelphia fan.
Hey, man,
It's
the bar is set high, brother. All right, the bar is set high. And you know what? Like, ask Bryce Harper. He loves it. This guy can't get enough of it. He wants to inject the Philadelphia fan base in his veins. Like, so if you're here and you can make it work, you'll be a king or queen forever. If you can't or you fight back, then it's Jonathan Papelbon and everybody hates it.
Yeah. I mean, dude, you absolutely 100% nailed it. There are certain fan bases will love you one moment, hate you the next. And trust me, I've been in Philadelphia many times playing in front of those fan bases in college, professionally, and I can attest to that personally. Eytan, awesome chatting with you, man. We'll do it again real soon.
Anytime.
There you
Anytime.
go.
Little Caesars. All right. Sponsor this show.
Pizza.
7-Eleven.
Man. Yeah, the Eagles, look, during that second half, the one thing that I will say that they did is they matched what the Patriots were doing offensively. Long, sustained drives, scoring points. They were trying to play keep away because that's exactly what the Patriots were trying to do. They got on that heater at the end of the first half with Mac Jones throwing 2 touchdowns, one to Hunter Henry, one to Kendrick Bourne. And then they were able to kind of sit on the football and preserve their lead and add to their lead. The Eagles are a good team.
They still have that offensive line, man. There's no team better in football at sitting on the ball when they need to, and the Eagles can do that because of Jason Kelce, Lane Johnson. Like, that offensive line is legit.
Yeah, and speaking of long drives, want to talk to you about Toyotas. San Diego County Toyota dealers are exactly the place to go if you're looking for a Toyota. Let me rewind the clock back to a trip that I took out to the East Coast. I was visiting my sister in Connecticut. We flew into Boston. We had to drive down to Connecticut, spend some time with her, and then drove down to New York, spent some time with family there, then drove all the way back up to Boston, and we hopped on a plane coming home. We rented a 4Runner, a Toyota 4Runner. And about halfway through the trip, I looked at my wife and I go, "You're not car sick." She, on every long trip we've ever taken, she gets car sick, except when we're in the 4Runner. So when my car broke down, the place we turned to was San Diego County Toyota dealers for a brand new 4Runner. And that's what I currently drive. Had it for 6 years, no major breakdowns. I literally just put gas into this thing and it drives. So if you're driving around today thinking about your next car, truck, SUV purchase, let me make it easy for you to head to a local San Diego County Toyota dealer. They have great deals on super reliable vehicles. Their customer service is top notch. And if you're interested in going green or saving on gas, Toyota's Beyond Zero lineup of electrified vehicles is right for you. If you're looking for a great deal on any new Toyota, head to toyota.com. New vehicles arriving daily at your San Diego County Toyota dealers, and they are available right now, including the most popular cars, trucks, and SUVs coming today. Toyota, we make it easy. This isn't easy, though. This next story, this could doom the Chiefs season altogether, and it's next. Coming up next, if you're a Chiefs fan or if you have Travis Kelce on your fantasy football team, you're going to want to be listening. So Taylor Swift and harsh breakups have been affiliated for a lot of years. So literally the song that we're listening to right now is about a breakup. She has bangers about breakups.
Pretty
She
sure
writes
every song she's
song.
ever written is about breakups.
maybe, 90%.
She just keeps a diary of all the bad things that ex-boyfriends have done to her and then sings a bunch of songs about John Mayer.
Travis, you brought this to our attention yesterday.
Not good.
Things are not looking good for
Not
Chiefs
good.
fans all of a sudden.
Yeah, I would write letters to Travis Kelce. Don't do it, man. Don't do it. And
Bad idea.
Listen,
Bad idea.
Listen, hold on.
Maybe they're just friends.
Taylor Swift is beautiful.
Yes.
She's beautiful. But she's not. It won't be good. It will not be good if you don't stay together.
There's going to be a whole album that's dedicated to Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
100%.
Yeah.
The Red album,
100.
too.
Yeah. With that, done. It'll be. Mhm. Yeah. Look, Travis Kelce, remember that couple months ago when he showed up? I think he was at our concert. Woo! Woo! He showed up at her concert and he tried to go backstage and talk to her. He made her a friendship bracelet because that's what Swifties do, and she denied him.
Yeah, I do remember that story.
Well, apparently she heard the call or saw his paycheck. One of the two.
Friendship bracelet had his phone number on it.
God, it's genius.
This guy, Travis Kelce. I mean, what a baller move by him.
Absolutely.
I mean, he just took out like the ram's horn, and he was like,
So I believe
I make a lot of money, and I'm very attractive, Taylor.
whatever the latest New Heights
then
podcast
What a man.
that he and Jason do together, his brother.
Oh, New Heights. Yeah.
Jason asked about Taylor Swift, and Travis said, "We're not talking about Taylor on this episode."
Oh no!
Oh my gosh.
It's over with. It's happening.
I mean, it should be headline breaking news on ESPN and Fox and everywhere where sports are absorbed.
It is.
Fantasy owners,
if they break up,
fantasy owners find a new tight end. Yeah.
Dude, I took him 4th overall in my draft.
I took him in like 3 out of the 4 drafts I had this year.
Yeah. Oh, same. Well, 2 out of 3 drafts. He's on.
Maybe we got bad blood.
Your fantasy team sucks.
This show, we are going to finish last in our league. I'm really relying on Travis Kelce.
Week 1 was a struggle because he wasn't playing.
I lost so badly in our league here at iHeart that because of Travis Kelce not playing.
I lost by several points.
Yeah, this is bad news, gang.
Yeah,
this is this is like the Drake curse. You know how anytime Drake places a bet or shows up on the sideline of your favorite football team, basketball team, college basketball team, etc., all of a sudden that team just flames out. Is he a Padres fan, by the way? Could somebody get on the horn with Drake? Damn you, Drake.
Right.
This is a bad idea.
It's a bad idea. You're right. There will be an entire album dedicated, and it will be a little bit smoke and mirrors that it's not talking about Travis Kelce, but it's talking about Travis
I wonder if
Kelce.
that's why he grew out the mustache. You think Taylor likes mustaches?
You think?
Maybe. I don't know.
With mustache.
Looking for a man.
Her a question.
Yeah. No question.
I don't think she's dipped her toe into the athlete pool till now.
It might be the first.
Yeah. I mean, that pool could be low because she's got long legs.
Do not know where we know. One thing we do know is it won't be the last because there will be a breakup, and that's how this works.
Yes.
All right. We mentioned the Padres briefly there. We have some news to pass along about you, Darvish. Also, we play What's in the Box for SeaWorld tickets, and Kevin Acee, our Padres insider, joins us next.
Hour number 3, Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. This update presented by Macy's Backstage. Starting off with the Padres. They fall last night to the Dodgers 11-2 in LA. Other news to come out of last night for the Brown and Gold. Yu Darvish officially shut down for the rest of the year with elbow, that injury that was reported a few weeks ago. In the NFL, Aaron Rodgers officially going to miss the rest of the season with the ruptured Achilles. The Jets will start backup quarterback Zach Wilson this week against the Cowboys in Dallas. Good luck with that defense. Next up in the NFL, Thursday night football between the Vikings and the Eagles in Philly. That's tomorrow night. Eagles 3-point favorites as of right now. College football, Aztecs hit the road for the first time all season this week on Saturday. They're heading up to Corvallis to take on the Oregon State Beavers, who are ranked 16th in the country. Rich and Ted will be on the call starting at 12:30. We got pregame coverage beginning at 10:30 on Saturday. What will you find at Macy's Backstage? Here's a hint. Fall finds for $25 and under, like sharp blazers, cozy sweaters, cargo pants, jackets, and more. Find the latest trends and new arrivals at a Macy's Backstage store near you.
Yo! Woo! Happy Wednesday to those who celebrate. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch with you on a hump day, fresh off of our little golfing excursion yesterday at Steel Canyon. What a course, what a time. All brought to you by Long Ball Hard Iced Tea. We tried their brand new transfusions.
Love them.
Yeah, those are delicious.
You know,
They are a smooth drinking thing.
rare that a canned cocktail actually tastes better than when you get the drink made at a bar.
Right.
But side by side, there's no question about it in my mind. That one wins. Poured it over ice, was sipping it as we were cruising around the carts, playing some of the worst golf I've ever played in my life. And actually, if you're interested in seeing some of that golf, go to Big Rich TD Fletch on TikTok. I'm going to post it after we finish up here on Instagram as well. It's a compilation video of all of us going through one hole. Travis tried a par 3. I tried a par 5. Ben tried a par 4. It did not go well.
It was every time we pulled the camera out, it got real bad.
So, Rich, you're not going to believe this. You were gone after 9 holes, but on the 10th hole, I parred it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
On the 10th?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so literally the very next hole after I leave? Wow.
Yeah.
I hit like a bomb drive. It's the first hole on that we usually play on the Canyon course.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's a little dog leg left. So I cut the corner on it right in the
Sweet.
middle of the fairway. Popped the second shot up. Travis and I were scrambling at that point. Popped
It's because CJ was so damn
he
good.
was.
Yeah.
But popped the second shot up off to the left a little bit and then up and down for par.
Yeah, look, CJ was our partner in the cart yesterday. He won the win a free round of golf with Big Rich, TD, and Fletch. So a lot of fun with CJ yesterday. Really, really awesome time. Okay, want to move on to the Padres. Yeah, what do you
Real
got?
quick. We've been celebrating a lot of anniversaries here in this building recently.
Yeah.
Like the station's 1 year, our 1 year, like a lot of things happen. I was posting the podcast from the first hour today, and I'm realizing what today is the anniversary of. I'm going to play 4 seconds of sound, and you guys will both know exactly what it is.
Okay.
This is 1 year from the day that Rich had his wisdom teeth taken out, was high as a mother, and FaceTimed me and Travis.
Oh, it was great.
That was a bad day. I had all 4 wisdom teeth taken out, plus a molar that had cracked. I had 2 molars cracked during my playing career that got super like cavitied and infected, and this one had to go. And so it was really the impetus to get the wisdom teeth taken out. I'm like, well, if I'm going to get this molar taken out, I'm going to get those wisdom teeth done too. And I'm thinking, no problem. Middle of the football season, no big deal.
Brady Hoke show the next day. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, and so I did. And then you guys called me when I was high on painkillers.
You know what's great is your eyes got so like concerned and doughy. Like, and then I couldn't help but talk to you like you were a child.
My wife filmed me the entire, I should post that. My wife filmed me the entire ride back from the dentist's office, just asking me all sorts of stuff. And I was saying, so I was really out of pocket with her. I was like, you are a terrible cook.
Yeah, your cooking sucks. I love you, but it's so bad.
You're like, sometimes you make really weird things.
She does, dude. Like, she's the type of person who should be like, it's dinner and there's nothing here that I want. I'll be like, all right, what do you want? Well, we could go out and get like sushi or pizza or Chinese food or what do you want? Anything. I'm down for whatever. Burgers. She'll be like, no, I saw there's a box of saltines in the cabinet. I'm like, yeah. That doesn't sound like dinner, babe. Yeah, but maybe if I just open a can of stewed tomatoes and just dip it. I'm like, what? I'm not even kidding. That did actual. And then she did it. Then she was just eating saltines and stewed tomatoes out of the can.
Wow, did you try one?
I was like, did you sleep under a bridge last night? Like, what the hell is the matter with you?
Did you try one though?
I did, and I didn't
It can't be that bad.
It wasn't bad. It was good. It was good, but it's the last thing I would have thought to eat for dinner.
I bet you needed more salt though on it. Even though it was a saltine, I bet those stewed tomatoes were not very.
Here's the
not
problem.
very tasty.
Immediately, I started thinking like, oh, you know what though? Like, I was like, yeah, with a little salt, maybe a little oregano. I'm like, you know what? Let's sprinkle a little cheese on this and put it in the toaster oven. And then I stopped myself. I'm like, I am not making mini pizzas on saltine crackers because you're insane. I'm going to go get a burger. I'll be back in a little bit.
That was also the day we found out you have a long-standing love with Susan Sarandon.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, Bull Durham, she was in her prime.
And we also figured out you have an even bigger crush on Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, he's my dog.
He's just such a great dude.
That's my quarterback. He honestly was my favorite teammate. He really was. He was such a kind person. He knew everybody's name immediately as soon as you walked in the door. He's still a friend to this day. Phil Rivers is a great guy. But yeah, getting 5 teeth removed in the middle of the week, just at random. Basically, I was just like, yep, let me look at this is good.
Oh my God, Netflix and chill.
I think they gave me steroids.
I think the question that was asked was, are you going to be watching movies or something like that? And it just went to
yeah. I don't know what's really wrong with me.
Yeah.
Netflix and chill. All right.
That's great. That was great.
Let's switch gears here because we're going to be joined by Kevin Acee in just a little bit, our Padres insider, our best friend, who did admit to us last week that he loves us. That was a special moment for all of us here at the station. We're definitely going to follow up with him, make sure it was as special for him as it was for us. But Yu Darvish, man, Yu Darvish officially shut down for the season. It's not just bone spurs in the elbow. He admitted to having a stress reaction in that elbow. This is something that shut him down in the 2018 season, not 5 years ago. That means he's 5 years older. He's having a reoccurrence of this old injury. He's had Tommy John in the past, and now he's dealing with this. Is this really troubling for you, or do you think this is just okay? Well, he can resolve it in the offseason. We'll get back to where we were in the first place.
I don't know. I mean, is it troubling to me? Yeah. I mean, there is a little bit of a fear of this isn't something that can just be corrected by rest. But I guess we'll find out. And if that's the cure, then go get rest and start right now. Wow.
Well,
Man, you are so tan.
You are really.
Why are you that tan?
Ben Fletcher just snuck behind us, and this is good timing. 844-570-1360. The number to call right now is 844-570-1360. If you want to win a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld's Hollow Scream at SeaWorld San Diego, you need to call right now, 844-570-1360. With every twist and turn, death-defying drop, all new special effects, and more scares, and 4 terror-filled houses, we'll give you something to scream about at SeaWorld San Diego. There's even more dark magic lurking around every corner with electrifying and mesmerizing live entertainment. Hey, Travis, it's the screamiest event of the season, and it's now at SeaWorld San Diego's Hollow Scream, starting September 29th through October 31st. Only select nights. For more information, visit SeaWorldSanDiego.com.
Did my mom write this copy? I'll give you something to cry about.
Because I said so, Travis. So SeaWorld's hooking up one of our listeners with a 4-pack of those tickets. And all you got to do is win a game show we like to call What's in the Box.
Yep. This is I think this is our 4th week on this now.
Yeah.
Only the 2nd since we've had the box.
Okay, so Charlie, he called
I
in
love this
first. It's the best.
It's the best game.
good
Are
game.
we implementing rules this time?
Okay. So
yeah.
let me go through it right now. So Charlie just called in. And Charlie, we'll get you up on the line here. I want you to listen very carefully. So here's the rules. We're going to ask Ben, Travis and I are going to ask Ben 20 questions. Now, Charlie, at any point, you can chime in with a question of your own, and we will definitely give you an opportunity to ask questions. At the end of the 20 questions, Charlie, you're going to have to come up with a guess. Now, if your guess is wrong, however, then we're going to go to our next caller. Waiting patiently in a line is going to be Bobby. Robert is our next caller in.
And now does Robert get 5 more questions to finish the job?
Yes.
And then we just keep going to callers until somebody effectively guesses it.
Okay.
Otherwise, we will just knock the lid off the box and we'll give away the SeaWorld tickets to someone else.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. So Charlie, you with us?
I'm here. Good morning, guys.
Good morning. Good morning. You heard all the rules. You good with that?
I think I got it.
Okay. All right. Well, easy enough. So, I mean, do you want to jump in here, Rich?
Okay, Ben, right off the bat, is it a bowling ball?
No.
Okay, it is not a bowling ball.
Okay,
So
well, that's
That's a
question number
waste
one.
of a
That was-
question.
yeah, I feel like you should get 21 questions now.
okay. All right.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Maybe. Oh, you start fresh. That was a bad one. Okay.
all right.
But we do know it's not a bowling ball.
That was a hell of a guess.
Is it metal?
No.
Okay. Is it organic?
What? Clarify the question.
Like, is it a carbon based?
Is it everything carbon based?
No, hell no, man.
Come on, man. It's got to be like a.
No, it's not alive. If that's what you're asking.
Well, no, that's a different question. I'm asking, like, not if it's alive, but is it?
Was it alive?
Yeah, was it alive?
Yeah, at any point.
No.
Okay.
Okay.
all right.
Okay. Wasn't alive at any point.
Thank
Okay.
you, Charlie.
Yeah. Thank you for that clarity. Travis, you got one?
Well, Charlie, do you have another question here?
Is it made out of plastic?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay. Wait a second.
Like the answer is no.
Okay.
It's not
Okay.
like hard plastic, like a
Okay.
Tupperware container.
Okay. Well, hold on though. Hold on.
Like there might be plastic particles in it, but
Oh,
no,
that's
it's not what you would consider like everyday plastic.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna write some clarity to. I'm taking
Is it,
notes here.
is it rubber?
No.
Okay, definitely not rubber. Okay. Is it electronic?
No.
Okay, interesting.
Is it an office supply?
No.
Not electronic, not office supply. Charlie, do you got one?
Does it fit into your hand?
Yes, you can hold it in your hand, and it's meant to be held in your hand,
Okay.
Okay.
but
all
it
right.
is probably slightly bigger than the average hand.
God, it sounds like a bowling ball.
Yeah, see,
Yeah, really-
back to, can I
Yeah,
ask that?
I mean,
Is
it really
is
does.
a bowling ball? Did I ask that already?
You asked that, and the
Okay.
answer is still
Okay,
no.
all right, all right.
However,
Bowling ball.
I guess it could be used as a bowling ball.
Oh,
Whoa,
is
whoa.
it? Wait a second. Wait a second.
Whoa.
Is it a sphere? Is it?
Yes.
Oh wow, it's a
Okay, it's
sphere.
a sphere.
It's a sphere.
Okay.
Excellent.
All right. I guess I started to think about what this is. Would you find it in your home?
You could, especially if you have kids.
Okay.
wow.
In a home.
Yeah.
Any
Is it full of
questions?
air?
Say it again, Charlie.
Is it full of air?
No, it's not.
Not.
Ooh, that's a
full-
good question. That was
That is a good
that was
question.
Okay, okay.
Charlie.
I'm gonna sort of reset here, Charlie, because here's the clues. It wasn't alive at any point. It's not metal. Ben doesn't think it's made out of plastic, but it might have plastic particles. It's not rubber. It's not electronic. It's not office supply of any sort. You can hold it in your hand if you have a bigger hand. It's spherical. It can be found in your home, especially if you have kids, and it's not full of air, and it's definitely not a bowling ball. So that's where we're at.
How many questions is that?
Okay,
It's what,
1,
10?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So
Okay,
11,
11
questions.
questions.
We got about 9
We've
left.
got 9 left here. Charlie, do you got one for Ben?
Is it made out of multiple different types of material?
I would say yes, but no, that's not the way to think about it. That's not advancing anything.
Interesting.
Is it sports related?
Yes.
Ooh, good question.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so
Your
it's
brain's going
round,
somewhere.
it's sports related. It's not a bowling ball, but you could hold it in your hand. You could use it as a bowling ball. And you would have this if you have a child at home.
Right.
Wait. I mean,
And it might have plastic particles in it. Okay.
okay.
Is it a ball? Is it a sports ball of any sort?
Yes.
It's a
It's a sports ball.
However,
Okay.
can I clarify?
Yeah.
It's not regulation.
Any sort.
So
Okay.
it's a miniature. Hold on.
Miniature. So it's a sports ball, but it's miniature.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hang on.
Hold on. Wait.
You go.
By the way, I
no,
did.
Wait.
You said it's miniature. I didn't.
Oh, it's not.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying it's not, but you said that. You didn't ask the question.
Can we shake the box?
No.
What? I don't know. I'm just asking a question. Charlie, any question here at this point?
Is it a miniaturized version of a major professional sports ball?
Yes.
American.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Now, hold on. If we make a guess, does that count as a question, or is that the guess and the game is over?
Doesn't Charlie have to guess?
Right.
Charlie does have to guess.
Wait. Let's start guessing sports. Hang on.
Yeah.
Is the sport it represents basketball?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, I
Is
feel
it
like
a miniature basketball?
Charlie, congrats, man. I got to get back to the copy because I can't remember what it says, but you just won yourself a 4-pack of tickets to SeaWorld Hallow Scream at SeaWorld San Diego. And that's happening now at SeaWorld. Nope, it's not. Starting September 29th through October 31st on select nights. For more information, go to SeaWorldSanDiego.com. Congratulations, Charlie. How you feeling, buddy?
Oh, I feel wonderful. Thank you, Rich.
Yeah.
You bet, man.
Yeah, when Rich puts the box on his head, he looked like you could be a DJ.
Dude, yeah, I feel like Dead Mouse in here.
Yeah.
So last week, Rich almost broke his elbow. This week, I'm pretty sure he broke his nose because when he put his head back, the whole box slid back and slammed him in the face.
Oh my God.
So here's what got
Okay.
confusing.
So warm in there.
Because it's kind of plastic, isn't it? But it's
Well,
foam.
Yeah. It's you might be right. There could be plastic particles. It wasn't bad. And you know what? I wasn't doubting you. I was thinking like, geez, Ben's got a read on this thing.
So here's what's awesome about that ball. Signed by Matt Bradley.
Oh, wow, it is.
How about that?
that?
Check it
Look
out
at
if
that.
you're watching on YouTube live right now. We stream every day. Big Rich, TD, and Fletch on YouTube. You could see the old Matt Bradley signature right there. Pretty cool. So it's a San Diego Sports 760 mini basketball. Charlie was able to effectively guess what's in the box. And boys, I think we got a game show.
We got a game show.
Yeah.
This is a good show.
It's happening. It's happening. By the way, let me see who it was. It was the 913 on the text line that
Nailed
said,
it.
"Is it sports related?"
Oh, wow. Yeah.
That's how we cracked that thing open. Thank you, 913.
We're getting some listener feedback that's really good. I love how people are like, is it a glove?
Yeah.
Is it football? Is it 7-Eleven pizza?
Severed head. Say severed head.
The text line absolutely explodes when
Yeah.
we play What's in the Box.
Well, hang on there, Charlie. Just a couple more minutes here, and Ben will get your information. But congrats, man. You're going to SeaWorld Hallow Scream at
Yeah.
SeaWorld San Diego.
We're going to get back to you, Darvish, and the Padres. Again, the news yesterday that he's officially shut down for the season. He's got complications with that elbow, not just bone spurs, but we knew about those. He also has been dealing with a stress reaction in his elbow. And again, this is something that he dealt with in 2018 that shut him down for that season. He's had Tommy John all the way back in 2015. So this elbow's been through a lot. He's an older right-handed pitcher. And so Kevin Acee will fill us in on all those details. Also, speaking of injuries, Aaron Rodgers. It is officially official as of yesterday. MRI results revealed that he ruptured his Achilles tendon in his left leg. That means his season's over. And it means the Jets are on to Zach Wilson. He'll be their starting quarterback again after last season, starting the season as their quarterback, becoming injured. And then it was a mixed bag of Mike White and Joe Flacco. Well, Wilson's back as of right now, and he was able to help the Jets win. But it sort of feels like even though they won the game, they lost.
Oh, they lost hugely. You lose a Hall of Fame quarterback, you're a loser. like in that sense. I'm just saying, like every single person in that Jets locker room, in that Jets front office feels worse today. Probably feels the worst any team's ever felt after a loss in week 1.
After a win.
After a win in week 1. Sorry,
Yeah,
that's what
yeah.
I mean. I'm saying they're feeling worse now than
Yeah.
they would have if they lost that game, but Aaron Rodgers was still their quarterback.
It's a real devastation when you have the guy. Like when you all of a sudden, I mean, look, I've never been on a team that got the guy, but I know what it feels like to play with Tom Brady and knowing you have a chance to win a Super Bowl every year. I know what it feels like to play with a guy like Phillip Rivers and know you have a chance to win a Super Bowl. You have to have a great quarterback to even have a chance. And when you play with one of these guys, or if you're in the situation of the New York Jets where you saw how bad it could look at quarterback, and then after an offseason, you have a chance to win a Super Bowl. The elation of all that leading into the season and then the disappointment, it's hard to even quantify.
It's brutal. And just by hearing from guys like Garrett Wilson, who we played that audio earlier in the show, but how does that go through a locker room? The dejection of knowing that you had a pretty damn good shot to win a Super Bowl with one guy, and then once he's out, all of a sudden you're like, what are we playing for?
It's the level, it can get pretty low, man.
Were you on the Pats when Brady tore his ACL early in the season?
That was 2 seasons before I was drafted.
Because I would imagine it's a similar feeling to when that happened.
Yeah. Actually, no, it was the season before I got there. I think I was there in 2009, was right after the Matt Castle year. And yeah, it was kind of a similar situation early in the season. I think it was game 1 against the then Washington Redskins, now the Washington Commanders.
2008.
Yeah, he took a low tackle, tore his ACL. Matt Castle took over. They won 11 games and missed the postseason because the wild card was it was so steeply competitive. And yeah, Tom Brady came back after that. But I'm sure when that happened, all those guys in the locker room were like, "Great, season's over. That's a wrap."
All right, sweetie, you can book that Cancun trip for the first week of the postseason. We're not there.
Yeah, exactly.
Because the Jets have such a special roster, especially on the defensive side of the football. I think the offense is going to take a huge hit. But defensively, that group of players is ready to win a Super Bowl. And you could see it with the way they play. They have confidence. They have swagger. Sauce Gardner just talking S the entire game. That group is ready to go. And now the offense is going to take such a big step back.
Travis, what are you looking at over there?
Tell me it's not porn. It is Wednesday.
I just went to lowercase Padres. No, apparently down in Mexico, scientists went before Congress in Mexico and delivered 2 mummified alien bodies that they showed.
Suspiciously look just like E.T.
Yeah, they look pretty close. They're tiny, though. They did CAT scans on them. They appear to be real. I mean, what? I don't know. But they did CAT scans on them, and they have unknown DNA, and there's eggs inside of one of them.
No way.
Yeah.
Dude, burn it.
No
burn it
way.
now.
So
there's eggs?
Dude. That's what they said. I don't know. Did you? I mean, they could just be, they could have made these CAT scans in Photoshop. I don't know.
I also love that. I saw this on TikTok last night and thought it was completely fake news. And then the more I read about it this morning, the more I'm like, why is everyone not talking about this?
Well, we are. And we'll talk to Kevin Acee about it.
Why is this not an alert that's coming across everybody's cell phone?
Coming
right
up
now?
next, we're going to jump into the Padres. Darvish officially shut down, and aliens in Mexico that have been mummified and brought before Congress. That's coming up next with our Padres insider, Kevin Acee.
We'll talk some Padres and mummified aliens with our best friend Kevin Acee coming up next.
This update is presented by Staples Stores. Starting off with the Padres here. They fall last night to the Dodgers 11-2 in Los Angeles. Some other news to come out of last night's Padres game. Yu Darvish officially will be shut down for the rest of the year with that elbow injury that was reported a couple weeks ago in the NFL. Aaron Rodgers officially missing the entire season with a ruptured Achilles. The Jets will start back up Zach Wilson this week against the Cowboys in Dallas. Next up in the NFL, Thursday Night Football, Vikings, Eagles in Philly. Eagles 3-point favorites as of right now. And in college football, the Aztecs hit the road for the first time this week on Saturday. They're heading up to Corvallis to take on the Oregon State Beavers. $10 says your local Staples now accepts Amazon returns. Now, when you receive an Amazon order at Staples, you will receive a coupon for $10 off your next Staples purchase of $30 or more. In-store only. Exclusions apply. Staples, your new favorite place for Amazon returns.
It's Big Rich, Cheaty, and Fletch at San Diego Sports 760. It is a Wednesday. We'll be talking with our best friend Kevin Acee here about some mummified aliens. Oh, and the Padres coming up. But also, we want to remind you that you can join us and the San Diego Blood Bank in saving lives by donating blood at the iHeartRadio Blood Drive this Friday, September 15th, 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at our studios located at 9660 Granite Ridge Drive. Your donation can help patients with cancer, severe burns, trauma, childbirth complications, and a whole lot more. And just one donation could save up to 3 lives. All types are needed. All donors get a pair of free admission to the Del Mar Racetrack, Fall Meet, or the Fleet Science Center while supplies last. You need to make your appointment at SanDiegoBloodBank.org today.
Yeah, so Yu Darvish, there's news about his elbow. There's mummified aliens in Mexico. And so there's a lot to talk to about all of this with Kevin Acee. I mean, this is big stuff.
By Kevin Acee on San Diego Sports 760. Brought to you by Hamul Casino. Hamul Casino, fun above all else. Quidel Ortho, changing lives one test at a time.
We always have to vamp when Ben Fletcher answers the phone.
Get one of these.
We get stretch. I need time for the Kevin Acee intro.
3 seconds.
I'm sorry.
3 seconds is all I ask.
I can't help it. I just love teasing you. It is one of my favorite pastimes.
probably actually second favorite. My first favorite is talking to Kevin Acee on the phone line.
Hands down.
So before we get into any Padres related news or alien related news, because we have breaking news in both of those categories, we do need to talk to you as a follow-up about what happened on the show last week. Pretty special moment for all of us. I mean, yourself included, Kevin. You love us.
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's a little awkward because, like, I feel like it was more of a question I was asking, and then we
took it as a declarative. We took that question mark. We took that question mark and we straightened it right out into an exclamation point. It was
exclamation point. Yeah.
It was less "I love you" and more of "I love you."
Yeah. You did a good impression of me there. I mean, that's how things happen. That's just how things happen, and I'll go with it. It's fine. I mean, it's great. It's great. I love you guys.
Yeah. See, Kevin, here it is. Because I picture your love as like a river going up against a massive dam, and it's breaking away at it, and then eventually the dam bursts. And last week it was "I love you," and this week it's "I love you guys."
Yeah, feel it.
Right.
Let the flood waters just wash over the lands.
That's right. Yep. Speaking of question marks, Kevin, there was a question mark in the deep bowels of space that what telescope picked it up? I can't remember.
James Webb.
The James Webb telescope checked it out. And speaking of deep space, apparently there's mummified aliens in Mexico.
Yeah, we're not sure if you saw this story, so we wanted to bring it to your attention. But mummified aliens found in Mexico, and it was scientists, right, Travis?
Yes, they brought them before Mexico's Congress.
So I guess the question is, Kevin, are you going to be reporting on this now that the Padres season is over?
No, I got a few things I got to wrap up, right?
Like a mummy.
I will not look at anything to do with anything for a month. So aliens can come, anything can happen, and I will not know about it.
That's good, because I just sent you the
probably
picture
best.
of the mummy, so maybe check your phone.
Yeah, look at the real quick. Well, Kevin, we want you to look at your phone.
Why is he this way?
Yeah, no, we need you to do this.
Look at it. That's all.
I mean,
it's like a cross between.
Wow. What is happening?
Cross between ET and Yoda, I would say.
They said
with no other possible way to look at it than what you just said.
Well,
yeah,
they're here.
Yeah, they're here. So apparently they're 1,000-year-old alien corpses, 1,000 years old. They're able to, like, I don't know, whatever you call it, carbon date it, and they extracted DNA somehow, and they said it's of non-human origin, and it's not from anything they've ever sampled on the planet Earth yet. So I don't know about you, man, but like, yeah, Darvish's elbow seems like a big deal, but there's aliens.
Well, like I said, I don't need. I just don't want. I don't want to know about really. I don't want to know about anything really. Wow, we all know what happens. This is in Mexico's Congress. We all know what happens in Congress. I mean, there's no wackos in there, so this is probably true.
Yeah, that's fine. It's fine. Should we talk Padres at all? I mean, are you feeling like? You feel like talking Padres, Kevin?
Well, it's difficult for me, like uproar over the Padres. Like, okay, so Trent Grisham bunts last night, and that was not a very good move, right? Okay, he bunts, bases loaded, no outs. Man, they really got a shot here. And he bunts, and wow, that wasn't very smart, or it wasn't. And it's like, so what? This team is not good. It's not going anywhere. Trent Grisham probably won't be here next year. Like, they've been doing dumb stuff all year. I'm just not really all that, upset over something on September, whatever it is.
That's kind of how we started.
Anyway.
Yeah, Kev, I agree. That's how we started the show this morning, is like, whatever happened on the field happened on the field. It doesn't ultimately matter. Like 11-2, 9-2, 25-2. It doesn't really matter. But going into the offseason, there's a lot of big storylines. How would you rank the storylines from Juan Soto potentially getting traded to Yu Darvish's elbow to the pitching rotation for next year? How would you rank these?
So going by personnel, I don't see how you don't have, say, like, this is all the top of my head here, ranking them. Juan Soto, I think you have to have at the top because it's Juan Soto, right? So are you going to have him as a part of your team or are you not? Okay, well, potentially going to have 30 home runs and, a 450 on base percentage, or you're not going to have that. Oh, wow. Well, what are you going to do then? So that to me is pretty big. What sort of other, this is the starting rotation, which, wrote about today. And gosh, so you have Darvish and Joe Musgrove. Well, both of them are finishing the season on the shelf, even if Joe comes back for like one pitch or whatever. Joe's got in his mind, he's a very goal-driven guy. And so he's got in his mind he'd like to come back for, to break through that barrier, that mental barrier of, all right, I came back. That's great. And so he may do that. But anyway, he and Darvish are on the shelf. So we don't know for sure how they're going to recover. But there's also 3 other spots in the rotation you've got to fill. And you've got contract issues with Waka and Lugo. I'm not sure you guys want to get all that deep in that, but just know that they might not be back next year. And you got another spot you got to fill. So, I mean, there's some big issues right there that I just said. So it's great. Like, look, you've still got the big 3 coming back. Jake Cronenworth will be back, and Ha-Seong Kim will be back. And there's a lot of good foundation there, but there are a lot of questions about this team as well.
Hey, Kevin Acee, by the way, joining us, doesn't believe in aliens, doesn't care about aliens, will not write about aliens.
Well, at least not till October.
Tired of the Padres, going to take a month off as soon as they finish their season because it's been a dreadful season for him, and I'm sure everybody out there who's been paying attention, including ourselves. But I do have a question about maybe a happy storyline, a silver lining in what has been a very dark gray cloud of a season. And that's Blake Snell. Man, there's a little bit of a career arc or a mini career arc that's occurred here in San Diego. Blake Snell was happy at home in Tampa. And then all of a sudden one day he gets a phone call and he's now a Padre. So he moves all the way across the country to a brand new team with brand new coaching staff, brand new teammates. He doesn't know the area very well. Wildly uncomfortable, and admitted as much, and talked about some of the mental anguish that he went through in that career flip, and then slowly but surely built himself into a better and better and better pitcher. And today we're going to get to see Blake Snell, and to me, he looks like he's completely recovered from the early stumbles and might win a Cy Young. I mean, you've talked to this guy a bunch throughout the season, I'm sure. What has this season meant to him personally?
Yeah, I mean, there's that. What you just said, all like really accurate, and also really simplifies things. I mean, Blake had a lot of stuff to overcome on the field too, in terms of didn't have his changeup, some mental hurdles about walks and all that. But comfort is so important. Like, rarely have I known a guy who talks about it so much and who seems to really thrive on it, who loves Tampa Bay. So that's all like super important. I think sometimes we forget that about people, like, hey, about professional athletes, like, hey, they're people, and sure, there's an expectation that comes with making millions of dollars, like, hey, suck it up and frickin' perform. But, they're people. So I think that's really important to remember about Blake, and that he is comfortable. Guy has just learned how to pitch. I know it's still a little frustrating, like, for people, they only go 6 innings. And I ask him about it all the time, man. But wait, man, what if you didn't have a 30-pitch inning? Like, and you were going 7 or 8 innings, wouldn't that be even better? Well, that's not who Blake Snell is. Not saying they don't never go 8 innings, but like, this is who he is, and it's a pretty darn good version of Blake Snell. And I know that the Padres feel like, dang it, we wasted this. We had all these other things in line, and it was like, what, if Blake Snell does really well, man, we'll be in a good spot. And well, Blake Snell did really well. The only thing that really matters about tonight's game is that Blake Snell's trying to win the National League Cy Young Award before it has 4 starts left.
Couldn't have said it better ourselves, Kevin. It's our favorite part of every week. And on behalf of the show, we love you.
We love you.
Love you.
I tell my wife this all the time when she's telling me this. I'm like, let's not overuse this phrase, okay, honey?
Feels good, though.
Boy, that sounds like you just have warm and fuzzy sentiment to pass on to your loved ones.
Yes.
Kevin, we love you so much.
You know what he
Don't
just
you-
did?
hey,
He just compared us
listen,
to his
woman.
wife.
Don't you
Oh,
want it to mean something when it comes from me? No, I do not say this. Are you kidding me?
wow.
But I am saying it to you guys.
Wait. Whoa. Did you just compare us to your wife? Are we like your work wives?
Yeah, could you say that maybe?
I would love to be inside. I would love to have be inside of your guys' head. Like I think that would be terrifying, but also it would be like the way that you're able to take these things I say, marvel at it. What a wonderful world.
Yeah, and it's filled with aliens.
You know what? And all I heard was, I love you guys.
Yeah,
I love you too, Kevin.
We love you.
All right. Catch you later, buddy.
See ya.
Kevin Acee on San Diego Sports 760 is brought to you by Hamul Casino. With thousands of slots, table games, and a sports bar voted San Diego's best, Hamul Casino is always a fan favorite. Quidel Ortho is proud to be the official diagnostics partner of the San Diego Padres. Quidel Ortho has been making a difference every day, changing lives one test at a time.
What a day to be alive. What a time to be alive. Aliens are real, confirmed in Mexico. Blake Snell Day on the mound.
We got breaking news coming up next.
Breaking news out of the NFL. Very important news coming up next. Coming up next, breaking news out of the NFL. Also, how we're going to build a closer bond with our pregnant spouses. That's next. So a little clarity on something that I said just moments ago. None of our spouses are pregnant, at least that we know.
Right.
Ben.
None of our spouses are pregnant. We can confirm.
Well, I
that.
mean, can you 100%?
I can 100% confirm it. Yes.
Now, how do you know?
I can 100% confirm it. I'll leave it at that.
Wow. All right. Well, listen, weirder things have happened.
Daily we're dog pregnant. We're picking up our dog on Sunday.
Oh wow, you're about to be dog parents.
Wow,
that's a big a big step. But I was more saying like the royal hour, like our collective pregnant spouses. Like if you have a mom at home who just birthed the child, many times it's the bee milk that the child subsists on for a while. I mean, some people are formula fed. I mean, my mom formula fed all three of us. We transitioned at one point to formula after months. It's a lot of ways to peel that orange. But here's the deal, guys. There's a trend going around.
Yeah, there's a trend going around.
While Travis talks about this, look at the picture Travis just sent us.
So
I can't. My phone just died.
Hang on, jeez. Hang on here. I'll just hand it to you.
Let me just see this real quick while you're talking.
So apparently, a new trend is feeding your husband to spend more quality time together through the mother's milk. I don't understand this at all.
I'm laughing at the picture you sent in group text. Okay.
Well,
somebody needs to check on Robert Downey Jr.'s dog. And then
are we allowed to repost this on our page?
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, why not?
Well, maybe our personal page.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
It is so damn funny.
Right.
All right. So would you ever? I'm just asking.
No.
You would never take it right off the tap?
What? That's weird.
I'm just saying, like, look, we as human beings, we do a lot of weird stuff that makes no sense at all when you look at it objectively. When you pan out and you think about a lot of the things that we do, that's the weirdest.
So there's breaking news in the NFL.
Well, it's a picture of a guy.
He's just going hog wild.
Just right off the tap.
Yeah, I'm out.
But their bond is so close.
I feel plenty close to Kendall.
Well, it's going to get closer.
Man,
it could get closer in 9 months.
Can you imagine she's just hugging your head while you're just grabbing a little bit of the sweet juice, the mana from the gods?
Do you think it'd be more like more like a mom thing though? Like
now if she gets like Coors Light dispenser on one of those. We're in business.
Ben's filling up on milk and she's just checking her phone. No.
All right, 5 fingers, you get 5 liquids. Okay, there is breaking news in the NFL. We have a minute left in this show.
Okay,
man.
Travis Kelce and his brother Jason Kelce do a podcast every day or most days. Travis Kelce saying this morning that he feels like an a-hole for not playing last week and that he's feeling a lot better this week and put 2 and 2 together. He didn't say the words, I'm coming back. He said, I felt like an a-hole for not playing last week. I feel a lot better this week. Put 2 and 2 together.
All right. So Travis Kelce is going to be back for the Chiefs next game. But you're telling me for real, you wouldn't take a little bit of that sweet booby smoothie? A little bit of that bee milk, man? Nothing?
Wait. Well, hold on, though. If the options were it's poured into a glass or it's straight off the tap,
oh my God.
You have to go tap.
Yeah, dude. All we're saying is pour you a hefty 8-ouncer from
Big thanks to Eytan Shander,
man.
who was on the show at 7:30. He's from Philadelphia, talking about the Eagles. Thank you to Kevin Acee, our best friend in the whole wide world, who would for sure take it off the tap. Thank you, Rich. Thank you, Travis.
Let's call him and ask him.
Brady Hoke Show coming up tonight at 6 o'clock.
Good Lord. All right, that's it. That's the show. That's how the show. That's how this one ends.
Yeah, and thanks to Robert Downey Jr.'s dog.
The Herd's next. We'll see you tomorrow.